20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money. Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
When the clock hits 0, go to all Next Round video platforms for instant reactions for the latest Auburn and Alabama basketball games. Follow, like, subscribe, and set those alerts. The madness starts now, so be a part of it at Next Round Live on all social platforms.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one, and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
There's no off-season at covercrimson.com. Sign up now and get daily shows plus behind-the-scenes intel that will keep your Alabama fandom rolling all the way up until kickoff. Follow Cover Crimson on all social platforms and sign up today at covercrimson.com.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Let's do it on a game day in New Jersey. Taylor's in Atlanta as Auburn will practice inside State Farm Arena. She will have a bunch of Auburn locker room talk coming up a little bit later on our platform at Next Round Live. Alabama got a 5-star football recruit. It is opening day for Major League Baseball. We've got a ton to get to. Emily Grace McWhorter in for Lance Taylor and Ryan Brown. It takes one of her to replace two of them. I'm Jim Dunaway up in Newark as we get ready for the Sweet 16 of the college basketball tournament. And EG will set the table on the games we get today, but we got 4 good ones on tap today in the NCAA basketball tournament.
We do. How sweet it is to be here at the Sweet 16. Again, Dunaway is in Newark, Taylor is in Atlanta, so we'll have a lot for you guys. And we're going to break down these matchups for you. Alabama will start things off at 6:09 Central with a matchup against BYU, and it only gets better from there. Now, a lot of people are saying, Dunaway, that this Alabama game could be the most exciting game of the Sweet 16. We will get to all of those reasons why, but I'm excited that basketball is back. Of course, opening day is here as well. As a baseball and Braves fan, very excited about that. And it's going to be a fun weekend full of basketball and baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk Braves a little bit later on. But after Alabama and BYU starts the night off on CBS 6:09, as EG said, you get another SEC team, Florida, taking on Maryland, 6:39 on TBS. So those two games will overlap. In the night window, you get Duke in Arizona at 8:39 on CBS here at the venue in Newark. And then Arkansas and Texas Tech will go 9:09 on TBS as we work our way. That's out in San Francisco. We'll work our way to the Elite Eight. We got 1,000 things to talk about in this game, but I had a chance to hang out with the players yesterday, and I want to play something from Mo Diabate.
Let's do it.
Because we're just across the Hudson from New York City, and he grew up in Queens. Tyler, if you'll give me cut number 5. So Mo's back close to home. And first, Taylor made fun of me yesterday because I think I got played a practical joke on.
Okay.
Can I explain what happened?
Yes, and we'll decide if it was a practical joke or not. Me in the chat.
Okay. Please let me know if I because I haven't had a chance to go back and talk to him yet. But going into the locker room, I spent a lot of time with Chris Stewart, Brian Passing, and Tom Stipe on these road trips. We've known each other for years. And I do some work occasionally for the Crimson Tide Sports Network. So going into the locker room after our venture into the great Italian restaurant in the Village 2 nights ago now, I was walking with Passing and Stewart, and they were going to go to the main formal news conference. I was going into the locker room, and I was like, so guys, is there anything, I've interviewed these guys now every day for 9 days on the road here. Is there anything new or unique that you guys know is going on that I maybe can talk to somebody about? And Chris Stewart goes, I hear that Mo is trying to arrange a trip back to his neighborhood and wants to take some of the guys to his neighborhood barbershop.
Okay.
And we all know that barbershops are a great place for, guys. I don't know if women do this, EG, but guys, when we're at the barbershop, we if it's an old school barbershop, we sit around and talk and we chop it up a little bit.
Maybe smoke a cigar.
Yeah, whatever, but, we talk life, talk sports at the barbershop. So I was like, really? So he's trying to arrange, a little drive across the bridge and take maybe some of the guys with him to go to this barbershop. Well, as it turns out, Diabate has to go to the formal news conference. And so I've got the other players left in the locker room. He and Sears go up there. So I know they're going to come back, and I'm going to interview Mo a little bit later on. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I'm going to go ahead and get the sound of the guys. I don't know if they've gone yet to the barbershop in Queens, or are they going? So Chris Youngblood's the first guy I talked to. And I go, all right, CY, I hear Mo's getting together a trip and arranging a trip back over to Queens to his old neighborhood to the barbershop. And CY goes, man, I need a fresh cut. He goes, I don't think I made the invite list. I don't know anything about this. And I said, yeah, I hear he's doing it. Going to try to. I don't know if he's going to try to do it on Friday. So it hasn't happened yet. No, man. If he did it, I didn't get invited, but I'd love to go. It sounds like fun. So then I'm with Jaron Stevenson. I'm like, hey, I hear Mo's trying to arrange a trip to Queens to the barbershop, and Jaron's like, dang, man, I hadn't heard anything about this.
Wait, let me pause you right here. Did we consider that this was a surprise?
All I know is, so I'm 2 interviews in.
Okay.
And Jaron's like, dang, I didn't get an invite. I'm going to have to hit Mo up, make sure if he hasn't done it yet, I want to go. And so I thought it'd be funny. Grant Nelson has crappy, his hair's all over the place. And I joked with Grant. I said, hey, if Mo invites you to go to this barbershop,
you gotta go.
And he goes, yeah, I could use something with this hair.
Will help.
So here comes Diabate in. And EG, I'm the first one to get him to sit down.
Okay.
So I'm right there, and I'm on one knee so I can get the camera angle because I'm shooting it with our video too. And this is national media and local media. I promise you, there were 25 phones and microphones that popped in around me. And I guess because I'm old or whatever, everyone's looking at me to ask the questions. So here I go. My first question is, so man, I hear you're getting a trip back to Queens to go to this barber shop.
Oh no.
Do you want to take the guys to your old barber? And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Dunaway, you're lying. No.
He's like, he goes, my barber came to the hotel and gave me a cut, and I hung out with him a little bit. We're long friends, but no, man, we don't have time, man. We're practicing. We practice in the day. We shoot in the afternoon. We shoot in the evening. He goes, I ain't got no time to go back over there. Hopefully, if we win on Friday, I can go see my mom and eat some home cooking, but I don't have time to arrange a trip. So I don't know if Chris was misinformed, or if he misheard something that the barber was coming, or if he was just playing a practical joke on me. What do you think?
So what was your response to that in the moment? Because I'm sure everyone around you is staring at you as in, what just happened?
I was like, I mean, barbershop's such a big part, especially the neighborhood in Queens. He goes, would it be good to take them back? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'd fit in. I was like, all right, short conversation. Let's pivot.
I'm like sweating for you in this moment. Like,
it's. I hope it's the practical joke. I really do.
After the first two no's, and I guess third no from Grant Nelson, did you consider that maybe you were misinformed, or were you so confident in your peers that you said, no way am I misinformed?
I was going to ride that maybe CY, and Jaron has his own little style. It's tightly woven and sort of long.
Yeah.
CY is very basic. I thought maybe it'll be Phylon and Aiden. Maybe they made the cut. Somebody like that. I didn't. Maybe he's taking some of the big men. Maybe Cliff's going with him because Cliff played at Rutgers. He's from this area as well. I just thought maybe I just so happened to talk to the first two guys that didn't get the invite.
Charles in the chat says Dunaway is going to cause a serious locker room issue for the Tide. The whole team now feels uninvited, but there was no invite to be had. Oh,
yeah, that's what Passing said at dinner last night. Passing, I was reliving the story with him and Tom Stipe, and Chris didn't go with us. And Passing and I are down in the village again, and I was telling the story. I was like, you were there. You heard Chris saying. He goes, I did. He goes, Chris sometimes, hears something, maybe he's didn't really grasp what really was going on, or maybe he was just playing a joke on you. I'll tell you, Taylor Corn likes to pull pranks too. So I don't know if Chris Stewart's from the Taylor Corn philosophy. Let's prank somebody.
I'm going to go with, if his barber showed up at the hotel this week, I'm going to assume that through the grapevine, the story may have gotten a little misconstrued. And because you did your due diligence, you had to see that story through. And boy, did you. You saw it from point A to point B.
The silver lining is that...
oh, wait, let's hear from Tyler.
The silver lining here is that there never was an invite. Because otherwise, Jim's causing some serious team chemistry issues in the Sweet 16.
I mean, this would be... I'm going to be watching team chemistry tonight because now we don't know what this could evolve into, Dunaway. I mean, if no one passes the ball to Mo, we'll know why.
EG's about to tell us about our friends at NASCAR. Coverage from up here. Our coverage from up here being brought to you by the wonderful folks at Culver's. Culver's has the fresh, never frozen meat that you can cook up and put it on a butter bun for their great butter burger. I go with the 2 patties and all the great sides there. They have unbelievable, like cheese curds. They got fries. They have the custards that you can do there on Fridays during the Lenten season. Well, year round, actually. They got some great seafood and seafood sandwiches. It's just everything you want from our friends at Culver's. Welcome to delicious 2 great locations. In our immediate area, very close to our studio, I-459, Highway 150 in Hoover, and also Tattersall, which is the one that's right there off 280. Those are our closest one. But any Culver's you come across in America is a great place to go. Our friends there at Culver's, they bring you all of our coverage from Taylor and I on the road throughout this NCAA tournament. EG, tell us about NASCAR that's coming to Talladega, and then we'll actually go hear from Mo Diabate talking about something he actually knows about.
Absolutely. We were at NASCAR last year in Talladega. My first time out there, and it was incredible. If you have not been out there, it is the biggest and baddest track in NASCAR. Talladega Super Speedway is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the track, you have to go. This beast is a 2.5 mile of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Link's 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through the 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Okay, first on the game tonight, and you help me with the pronunciation of this kid's name. Maybe you know Forrester better than me, but Igor Demon, is that his name? He's the guard for Demon for BYU.
Russian, yes.
I didn't know that the kid is like, he's projected top 15 NBA draft pick this year.
Yeah.
So BYU rolling out an NBA elite passer who can also shoot the basketball. So he'll be a key tonight. And LeBaron Philon told me at the jump tonight, he will get Igor. Okay. He will be the guy that will be covering him, trying to limit his distribution and also his scoring of the basketball. So Philon right now believes he's the guy, according to him in the locker room yesterday, that will catch their best player on the perimeter, and that will be Big Igor, as he is known for his passing, but also has been scoring the basketball, and he'll be a big focal point on what is projected to be a high-scoring game. As far as the health of Alabama, we had a chance to talk to a couple people yesterday. No change in Grant Nelson's knee situation, as I had a chance to spend time with him and watch him move around in practice. You saw some video that we sent out where I focused a little bit on Grant. It's still going to have that brace on it. It's still going to be heavily bandaged. He's going to be playing through a lot of pain, EG. But as you saw him in both games in Cleveland, he was very, very effective, right? He was very good.
Well, I think that's something that Alabama needs. I was asked this morning with our friends Peter Burns and Caroline Fenton on SEC Network, who's someone that needs to rise to the occasion for Alabama other than a Chris Youngblood, LeBaron Philon. And I do think it is someone like Grant Nelson. Obviously, he's been dealing with that injury, but he's been very adamant about coming into these games and being a difference maker. And they're going to need that against a team like BYU Dunaway, who is really evenly matched when it comes to depth. We've talked a lot about Alabama's depth all season long, how that has been an advantage because they're very comfortable going 9 to 10 guys deep. But you look at BYU and they can even go 11 deep at times. So that's going to be something I'm paying attention to tonight, is that depth matchup between BYU and Alabama.
Yeah, like Alabama's depth, they got into the legs of St. Mary's, and it was almost, you just hold on, and eventually St. Mary's was going to run out of gas. This BYU team will not run out of gas tonight, and there is discussion of this being maybe one of the higher scoring NCAA tournament games in regulation ever. So we'll see if they start to approach a record or anything like that. We'll see how it all plays out tonight. I don't know what the record is. Was that Michigan Loyola Marymount game back in 1990? Maybe in a commercial break. See if you can find the highest scoring NCAA tournament game. I can't remember if Michigan and Loyola Marymount was a regular season game or a tournament game back in the day. Maybe someone in the chat knows the highest scoring game in NCAA tournament history. Now let's meet Mo Diabate a little bit, because he's from Queens. He's from up in this area, and even though he wasn't taking teammates back to the barbershop, he is hoping to, at least if they win, to get a few moments back at home with family and friends while he's up here in the area on this trip. He'll have a lot of people in the arena tonight cheering for him. And I asked him about playing basketball in his neighborhood growing up. And here's my little brief conversation with Mo yesterday about life growing up in Queens as a guy who wanted to play basketball at the highest level.
Is there a place that in your childhood that you would get out and play basketball? Because being from the South, I picture being from Queens, you would play a little outdoor basketball every now and then. Was that a thing for you growing up? That's the way it always looked in the movies. And was there a favorite place that you would play?
My neighborhood, 48 Park. That's where I grew up. That's where I was born and raised. I grew up playing outside, my entire life. I started playing, more like organized a little later on, but I always played street ball growing up my whole life. So,
was there one kid that everyone was like, "Dang, how did he not make it to the NBA?" or he didn't play in college?
There's a lot of those. We got a lot of those in the neighborhood. we got a lot of kids that have the most talent, but they don't have the right focus. They got a lot of distractions and stuff. So that's one of the things, if you want to make it in the city, you need to focus. You need to have the focus. You need to have the right people around you, and thankfully that's something that I was able to do.
Yeah, I think I've gotten to know Mo Diabate a little bit more on this trip than I have any of the other Alabama players. I'd spent a lot of time with, Brant and Mark over the last couple of years, and a little bit with Aiden and Philon in Cleveland. But I've gotten to know Diabate a little bit more, and everybody knows his religious belief that he's going through now, where he's fasting from sunup to sundown, and he's taking that on himself, even and playing his best basketball right now. But just really a neat dude who loves being a teammate. He loves doing the stuff that maybe not everybody sees as glamorous. That he'll come in and just mix it up, and maybe not score a lot of points, but he'll go out there and just bust his butt for the Tide. And I think he's the ultimate teammate. He gets a lot of love from his other teammates when he does something well. They really lift him up.
I love that clip too, how he perked up so much when he talked about the talent that he had growing up, and that some of those guys don't make it because of the focus that he has. I'm curious, when you were in the locker room, Dunaway, what was the vibe, what was the energy between the players, their interactions that you saw as they prepare for today's game?
I think everybody's in good spirits. They're back in the Sweet 16 just like they were last year. And it's this point, EG, where this team last year turned it up to a different level. Their best two games that they played last year, I believe, was against North Carolina in the Sweet 16 and Clemson in the Elite Eight to make it to the school's Final Four. And there's a belief that there's still another level. This team's played a lot of great basketball this year, but they feel like they can still go to another level here at the Sweet 16, and they're going to have to do it. I mean, BYU is not an easy out tonight. ESPN, their basketball analyst, of 8 games, they all agreed on the other 7, and the only one that they were split on was BYU Alabama. They all picked everybody's got a favorite in the others. There was no dissension. Every ESPN basketball analyst agreed on every other game. Auburn, Florida, Houston, But BYU, Alabama, they were split on. In fact, BYU got more picks than Alabama. So with the ESPN analysts anyway, BYU is the favorite in this game. So the betting public says it is Alabama, but it's a split decision tonight. This is a toss-up game, and Alabama will have to be at their best. You mentioned Mo Diabate perking up. Cut number 6, Tyler, and this will end it for Mo Diabate here, but. You want somebody who's perked up. Has everybody noticed that occasionally that he is shooting the 3 ball and he makes a lot of those threes? Now, he doesn't shoot as many as the other guys, but I figured, I've already gone down a road where I invented a Mo Diabate trip to the Queen's Barbershop.
You might be getting a text from Coach Oates later today, or from Steven, talking about how some credentials might need to be in question next time for distracting the team.
But I did say, okay, I need to maybe compliment him, throw a little sugar his way. So I said, man, have you noticed that you may be the hottest 3-point shooter on the team? Here's cut number 6, Mo Diabate.
I think right now, technically, you're the hottest 3-point shooter on the team.
Yeah, that's what everyone is saying. Even though I have a low volume, but I've been working on my shot a lot, and I've been seeing improvements. So hopefully it stays that way, and I just keep progressing. But they saying I'm the best shooter. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take that best rebound, the best shooter. I'll take it. I'll take it all.
I love that, Dunaway. I love that.
He doesn't shoot a lot of them, but he does seem to make more than he misses.
That's, quality over quantity. I think anyone would take that behind the arc.
Yeah. And I think I'm right about this, man. I think Alabama fans really love that guy.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he is a fan favorite, and he'll be so important, as they all will tonight, as Alabama tries to survive and advance out of the Sweet 16 and make it back to the Elite Eight for only the 3rd time in program history. That game goes at 6:09 tonight. I'll be making my way over to the arena when we're done here on the Next Round show that's being brought to you today in part by our friends at MyBookie. MyBookie getting you ready for tonight's contest. At MyBookie, you can get a sign-up bonus by just going to mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag. The sign-up bonus is 50% deposit up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip when you're using the code Next Round. That's all right there at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, and that sign-up bonus, you can play all the games right there. And if you will, EG, tell us about our friends at Bojangles, who also not afraid to let you enjoy a little bit of March Madness with their Bo Bites, right?
Absolutely. Ordering Bojangles Bites is the easiest choice that you will make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you are on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from the 6 dipping sauces, one for every craving, from the creamy house-made ranch to the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you are in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bo Bites. It is Bo time.
Okay, more coming up here from Alabama's media day yesterday, and of course, what went on in the city last night, because I had another venture into the city to try out an iconic thing that was recommended by a lot of our viewers and listeners. But we did have a big football commitment yesterday for Alabama. Jordan Edmonds, who is a 5-star #1 cornerback in America, and he's a top 10 overall guy. He picks Alabama yesterday. I know our man Clinton Lamb and Mick Gillespie and the fine guys at Cover Crimson, where you do some work as well, EG, broke this guy down. But this is another big get for the Kalen DeBoer and the recruiting crew over there.
Yeah, it's the first 5-star of the 2026 recruiting class for Alabama, and he joins an already really talented group of cornerbacks that Alabama has. You've got guys like Damani Jackson, Xavier Brown, but then also the incoming freshman and Cam Calhoun, Dijon Lee, and guys like that. So definitely a great get for Alabama. He's got some elite length, but really good movement as well. And Clinton Lamb broke this all down on Cover Crimson that you guys can go check out. CoverCrimson.com. You can get $25 off your annual subscription today. And like Dunaway said, Clint and Mick do a great job over there of making sure that you guys are informed on all the Alabama news. Recruiting is very hot right now, and this was definitely something for Kalen DeBoer and his staff that, you know, they're solidifying that they can recruit in the South. And like I said, adding to an already really, really talented and deep cornerback room that Alabama has. And actually, a year ago, we were talking about how that room was a little uncertain with how much depth they actually had last season. And now this season, it does not appear to be an issue.
Yeah, 6'3", 175 is Jordan Edmonds. And when he gets on campus, obviously he's got another year of high school over in Marietta, but when he gets on campus, he will be a big-time player. He's everything I was reading about him last night and this morning is he's a future NFL guy. He's the kind of guy that can lock down half the field in college. So a big-time get for Kalen DeBoer and the staff over there. Got to hold on to him. Long way to signing day. Got to hold on to him because he's in Marietta, and his 3 finalists were Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. So got to hold on to him. But his mom says, and mom knows, his mom says he loves Alabama. Every time he's there, he fits in over there and he loves it. So Jordan Edmonds, a big get for Alabama in the recruiting cycle. All right, one more thing to get to in the opening segment, and it involves food again.
Okay.
But first, let me tell you about our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Again, Leslie, I apologize. I may come back 10 pounds heavier. I got to figure out how many days I've been on the road. I don't remember how many days I've been on the road now. But
on the road
Way
again.
to Wellness. Yeah, Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Just go to this website at planforme.com, and they will help you get started with a free consultation. Leslie and her board-certified team will take care of you. And then other than the free consultation, there's no contract and there's no sign-up fee. So it's really nothing out of pocket just to get some details about Way to Wellness. You just start off at the website, planforme.com. They got meal replacements. I use the protein bars, so I'm out of them on this trip. I didn't pack enough. They've got injection therapy, if that's something you want to consider as well. Anything that can help you with your weight loss and other health benefits, they've got it for you. planforme.com. It is Way to Wellness. I don't know if I've ever gone to a legitimate traditional Jewish deli.
Okay.
But all of you guys in the chat room were recommend. You guys always do this when I go on the road. You guys give me food recs. And Tom Stipe, who is the engineer on the Crimson Tide Sports Network for decades, he is a foodie, and he's up here because he does a lot of production work for the U.S. Tennis Open. So he's up here in New York
awesome.
every year for a few weeks. And so he's the one that took us to the great Italian restaurant, considered to be one of the best, if not the best Italian restaurants the other night in the village. So we're back in the village last night, and he goes, "You got to go with us. Pasink has Jewish heritage in his family, and he loves the good Jewish deli." Stipe says, "Dunaway, you got to come. You got to come. We're going to Katz Delicatessen. It has been a staple in New York City since 1888.
Nice.
I'll say that again. It has been same location, a staple since 1888.
Wow.
And they're like, okay, you need to sort of know what you want. So before we walk up to the counter, sort of figure it out." So I'm like, "Oh, it's like the varsity in Atlanta. They're going to start screaming at me. What you want? What you have? What you have?"
Right.
It wasn't quite that aggressive, but they did want you to sort of know. And they gave me some hints. They were like, don't ask for white bread. Don't ask for mayonnaise. And I was like, okay, just basically, order it and however they make it, you take it. And so I'm still pounding water because the sandwich was so big. We got some pictures, I think, if Forrester has them for you. I had a pastrami Reuben, with pastrami made in house, and it's the biggest, largest, huge sandwich, and it was delicious.
Incredible.
Delicious.
Wow.
And no sides.
Okay.
You can get sides, but they said don't get sides because it's so much. They make their mustard in the house. They make everything in the house. The Russian dressing, the kraut that goes on the Reuben, the bread is made in house. Everything's made in house. It was delicious. It lived up to the billing. They make their pickles. They bring a big plate of pickles. I don't know if you like pickles or not.
I do like pickles.
I do too. And it was just a great thing to go down there. And we did it a little cheaper last night.
Okay.
The first night we went in, I paid for the Uber in, and Chris Stewart paid for the Uber back. And I won't get into the cost, but let's just say that it was expensive to Uber in, Uber back. So there's a bus stop right here at the hotel, the team hotel. And so I was like, and others had been going into the city, $3 to get you down to Port Authority. And then you can either walk, take a cab, take an Uber, or jump on the subway. So we went full New York experience last night. We jumped on the $3 bus. Doesn't make any more stops from our hotel. It takes you right to the Port Authority, which I'd never been to. The Port Authority. I hear it mentioned in movies and on Law and Order. But I get out and we walk up a staircase, and it's like an airport, but for subways and buses. Like, it's got a Hudson News, it's got a Jamba Juice, it's got shops. It literally looked just like an airport. Just like an airport. And I was like, okay, are we getting an Uber from here? And Passing was like, no, let's do full, let's go subway if you're okay with it. I was like, let's go. So we jump on the subway last night. I think $3 more, and we take the AC. Let me see if I can get this right. The AC Blue Line uptown.
Oh yeah,
then we got on the
Jimmy
then we
City.
got on the F. Then we got the F. Went down to Katz Deli. Got out 1 block from the deli. Walked up to the level of humanity out from the underneath of the city, and got a sandwich. Got back underneath, and boom, 2 lines back, and then back on the bus across the river. So good time in the city last night. I've seen New York differently this time than as a tourist, and it's been fantastic.
I mean, you're basically a local at this point, Dunaway.
Yeah. West Village, that's my vibe.
Greenwich.
I'm a West Village kid.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, Dunaway.
When we come back, more on some of the other games going on. We'll hear from Nate Oates about this matchup tonight. So we got a lot on basketball tonight, but a ton of stuff, including baseball starting today. We know there are a lot of Braves fans. We'll set the table for you there. The show being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Hot or cold, it doesn't matter. If it's they'll help get the air conditioning and everything right there in your home. Our friends at Hemp Hill, they've been doing it since 1954. The name Birmingham's trusted. All you have to do is look up Hemp Hill right there. Just Google them, or you can use the number on your screen right there. Hemp Hill Services. If it ain't running right, flowing right, or draining right, don't forget the plumbing. Hemp Hill can make it all better for you. Check them out right there. Our friends at Hemp Hill. We're back on the next round after this.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, welcome back to the Next Round as we broadcast live today from Newark. Little T has us covered in Atlanta, and EG has us covered there at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio. All of our coverage being brought to you by the wonderful folks at Culver's. The NCAA tournament brought to you by Culver's. Don't forget an easy drive-through there so you can get home quickly to enjoy the Sweet 16 games tonight and tomorrow night. The drive-through at Culver's, one of the best in the free world, and you can sample the great handmade hamburgers, pattied, fresh, never frozen burgers there on the butter bun with all the sides and toppings that you want right there. And don't forget the custards that are so unique to our friends at Culver's all over the country, but especially right near our studio, the ones we visit all the time at Tattersall, just off Highway 280, and also just off I-459, Highway 50, near the Hoover Met there in Hoover. It's our wonderful friends at Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. I found the highest scoring games.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I don't think we're in jeopardy tonight, but Tyler, I'll need cut number 8 to go with this. The record in 1988, Loyola Marymount beat Wyoming 119-115. But then they broke their own record again 2 years later in 1990.
Wow.
When Loyola Marymount beat Michigan in the second round of the NCAA tournament 149 to 115
like
to
an NBA
115.
game.
149 to 115, and the BYU players got asked about possibly challenging that record tonight. Cut number 8, Tyler. Here's the BYU players talking about, could Alabama and BYU at a fast pace possibly score 264 points between them to tie the record?
Tomorrow's game is being compared to this classic game from 1990 when Loyola Marymount beat the defending champion Michigan Wolverines 149 to 115. Because of that, how shocked would you be if both teams score 100 tomorrow?
They have really dynamic guards, they're really well coached, so I think it's going to be both fun to play a team from the SEC and fun to play a team at that caliber. But I think I would be shocked. I feel like we're both, especially we've been really focused on defensive, strategy, defensive mindsets to try to slow them down. We're both, 1 and 2, and I think offensive ratings right now. So it's going to be definitely a high, fast-paced game. But I'm excited to, hopefully be able to play some good defense, not have it 150 to 149 or something like that in the 1990s. But yeah, that would be awesome.
I think it's important for us just be focused on our basketball and not changing anything in how we play, and try to play good defense and make them score less than us.
Yeah. Isn't it funny that these two great 1 and 2 in the offensive rankings, and all you ever hear about, that's all the coaches talk about and all the players talk about, is defense.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Coach Oates yesterday was saying how the defense has to be an elite level. So from my perspective, Dunaway, it seems like both of these teams are going to try and slow each other down, because these are offensive juggernauts that I think are going to challenge each other in a lot of ways. And I don't think we're going to crack that 149 mark, but you will be a part of history if you were there. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, just think about it. Just to break the record, it would have to be 133 to 132. I mean, we're not going to get anywhere close to that.
We're not.
No, we're close to that. So just a different style of basketball Loyola Marymount played back in the last century. I was alive to see it, but it was a long
Wait, what year was
time
that?
ago.
1990?
1990, yeah.
Wow.
149 to 115, and that was a great team that Alabama had a chance to play during that era as well, and held them to like a 64-60, 62-60 loss, but played them a very different game than most teams tried to play them. All right, back to basketball in a moment. And again, Taylor is in Atlanta with Auburn. It's their practice day, it's their interview day, and she'll have all the Auburn coverage coming up from Atlanta on our social media site. So it's a good time to set your alerts and make sure you go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere that there's a social media outlet. We've got @Next Round Live, @Next Round Live. So go there and you'll get all the Auburn coverage there. And then Taylor will be live on our show tomorrow on game day leading to Auburn when they play tomorrow night, getting ready for Michigan. Show being brought to you today in part by our friends Alexander Shannara, trial attorneys. Tell us about Alexander Shannara, if you will, EG. And they're the people that really, when it comes to the madness of the real world, they're the ones that can help you advance in your bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. Their elite trial lawyers have recovered over $2 billion. $2 billion by maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. Alexander's mission was to create a firm that could handle any issue his community faced. The firm now handles not only any personal injury claim, but claims for fire, storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call Alexander Shinar Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case.
And our friends at Odie's as well. Trivia last night was a big success, even without LT Brownie. But you can go enjoy the games at Odie's tonight, to the little neighborhood bars there, both in Mountain Brook and over in Homewood at Edgewood and Crestline. The fine folks at Odie's are there to help you. It was created because it was part of the neighborhood, and it's the neighborhood bar for you folks there. But even if you're not part of the neighborhood, you can go there and enjoy great food for lunch. Rodney Scott's been Rodney and the crew there have been, serving it up. The best burger in town, the Diablo sandwich, and so much. Go check it out with our friends at Odie's, 2 locations. They're there for you throughout March Madness. And, of course, great music coming up this weekend. All right, it is opening day in baseball, and it's a long season. So we got 1,000 days to talk about this. But I mentioned yesterday that the betting odds were Dodgers, Phillies, Braves, and then I think Rangers in the American League. That changed overnight at MyBookie and also BetMGM. It's now Dodgers, Braves, Phillies. The Braves moved up a little bit. And I know you're a big Braves fan, and you'll have the Pennant Grays coming up this afternoon. It seems to be a fluid situation as we get started, but it's opening day. And the Braves will not be whole as they start the season, but 2 big stars will be coming back within the first 2 months.
Yeah.
Is this Braves team good enough, you think, to challenge the Dodgers for the World Championship?
Yeah, I think with the Braves, and we talked about this yesterday, Dunaway, is that they have such a balanced attack if they can stay healthy. That was something the Braves dealt with all last season. If you're a Braves fan, you remember it all too well. If it wasn't, Ozzie Albies, it was Austin Riley. Obviously, Ronald Acuna should be coming back in the next 2 months. Spencer Strider had a great outing for his first time back at spring training, but they are going to kind of limit him over the next couple of weeks. There was some discussion about getting him back out early, but they're going to play it safe, and I'm not mad at that at all, Dunaway. I think you also have a lot of experience, and there was some complaints, too, that the Braves didn't do enough in the offseason to challenge teams and clubs like the Dodgers and the Phillies and things like that. And there were some, non-moves that have proved to be pretty important, too, with Sean Murphy going down with, yet again, an injury. So I think that for Braves fans right now, we're trying not to get too ahead of ourselves, but when you look at this roster from top to bottom, there might be some names that you're not super familiar with, but there's a lot of depth, and like I said, if the Braves can stay healthy.
Yeah, that's a good roster there. Just a little footnote for you. The Tampa Bay Rays do not open their season today. They're still getting their minor league baseball park ready for major league play. They'll be opening tomorrow. Everyone else, other than the Rays opening series, plays today. That includes the A's playing in a minor league park in Sacramento. So you have 2 big league teams playing in minor league parks this year. And the A's please don't call them Sacramento A's. Nope. They're just the A's.
They're just the A's. How do you feel, Dunaway, about your Rays being in a minor league park? What are your thoughts on that situation? Because I've seen a lot of things from Rays fans.
Well, I'll be honest. I'm thankful to the Yankees for letting us use the park, so we didn't have to play in Montreal or somewhere else. So it still is in Tampa. What I think you'll see is that, first of all, we play a lot of home games here the first couple of months because it becomes the rainy season. The reason Tampa has an indoor stadium is because if you've ever been to the beach, it can just rain every day out of nowhere and rain a game out. So they're playing like an enormous amount of their home games in the first 2 months of the season, April and May. So that's going to hurt them later in the year when they play so many road games. I mean, they'll go on massive 14, 15 game road trips because of the weather away from Tampa. So that's going to hurt their chances for making the playoffs. But as far as the crowd's concerned, especially early on in these games, I think we actually will have a better atmosphere than we have in Tropicana Field because it's a small venue. We usually draw about 10 to 15, 16,000 fans. That's about what this holds. So it'll be a full building. I'm going to say it's going to be like baseball's version of Cameron Indoor.
Okay.
And I'm actually looking forward to something different to see to see what it looks like. And I just hope they have a pretty decent year and they don't suffer through so many rainouts, which is a possibility. One other thing to get to.
Okay.
Before we get back to basketball, and this is something that hits a nerve with our viewers and our listeners. But Gary Danielson is retiring, and he was the CBS broadcaster, the analyst for the SEC for many, many, many years, and he is stepping down. He's retiring, and I think I'm right about this. I don't think the chat room ever was a big fan of Gary Danielson calling SEC games, and that went away last year when CBS lost the SEC contract, and he went back to calling Big Ten games. And Gary's a tremendously nice guy, but for whatever reason, he never connected with the SEC fan.
Why do you feel like that is, though? What do you think kept him from being fully embraced by the SEC fandom?
I don't really know. I don't know, but I could see it. You know what I mean? I always heard the people talking, and I could see why they didn't sort of embrace him. Like Herb Street comes across to me as like, I don't know. He seems like he's one of you.
Yeah.
Like most times, I'm not saying all the time, but most time it never feels like he's talking down to you at all.
Pretentious or above you.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Troy Aikman, when I'm listening to him do an NFL game, I always feel like, damn, Troy and I we could be buddies. We could be sitting here having a beer together talking with Troy, and he's just so good at what he does. There was something about Gary that it always made you feel like he was smarter than you were. And just because he had a great access to great replays, it always seemed like he knew it better than you knew it. At least that's the way it felt to me and my friends as we were watching the game. So I'm gonna, I miss that era of SEC football because I thought the CBS broadcast was so good.
Agreed.
And I loved Vern Lundquist, but he had his own flaws. Are you old enough even to have a Mount Rushmore of announcers yet?
Yes,
Do you have one?
we talked about this, and I said let's try and come up with our Mount Rushmore of broadcasters. I think ours are going to differ pretty heavily, but mine would be, let me pull it up, and this is just kind of across the board. Jim Nantz, number one, and we have a story about him coming up as well. And I love the duo of Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler. I love listening to them. And then my sideline reporter would be Aaron Andrews. Laura Rutledge has obviously kind of filled the new era of sideline reporting, and she's absolutely incredible. When I was younger, it was all Aaron Andrews. That was who you wanted to be, and that was someone for me. As I began my career, I wanted to emulate how she approached the camera, how she made people feel like they're right there with her, and her questioning to players is just so unique because I feel like it's not casual, but it's very disarming. And I think Laura Rutledge also has that quality as well. But that would be my group, I would say.
My play-by-play guy, and see, I'm older, so there's only one guy who ever called college football that would be on my Mount Rushmore, and that'd be Keith Jackson.
Keith Jackson.
He would be on there. I enjoy Herb Street. I like Herb Street. I would probably put him on there to go with Keith Jackson. That would be my college duo. There was an old NFL broadcaster called Pat Summerall.
Yes, of
and
course.
This just goes back to when I was a little kid. Your dad, Mark, would resonate with him because he would have the biggest game on CBS. A lot of times it was the Cowboys, or it could have been somebody else, but he'd have the biggest game late afternoon on CBS. And, I'd be watching that game and the sun would be going down, and all of a sudden you'd be like, oh man, the football weekend's over with. I got to go back to school tomorrow. But Pat Summerall was there. And at the end, near the end of the game, near the 2-minute warning, they would do promo during a stoppage of play. And they would always be like, don't forget 60 Minutes, and then Murder, She Wrote comes up after the game. And except on the West Coast, where you'll get your local news, whatever he would say. And that was when it sort of dawned on me that, gosh, in just a few minutes, I would have to take a bath, put on my jammies, and get ready for another school week. And it was sort of awesome, but at the same time, it was sort of sad
A
that
little
the weekend
nostalgic.
was over with. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then my sideline reporter, um, I've had so many friends who are on the sidelines. I've been blessed to meet those people being on the sidelines, walking around at Alabama and Auburn games for years and years. But on a Saturday night SEC crew in the 80s, there was I can't remember Adrian's last name now, but he always wore suspenders, and he was the guy that was willing to, um, he would grab the rope and run Ralphie out onto the field with those guys, or he'd go to the highest point on the mountain overlooking the stadium and do a hit from up there in pregame.
He's creative.
Or yes. And, a lot of people do that now, but he was doing it in the 80s on the Saturday night broadcast, which oftentimes was an SEC game back then, when Auburn was really, really good under Pat Dye, and Tennessee and Florida were good. And I can't remember Adrian. The chat room would know Adrian's last name, but he unfortunately passed many years ago. He struggled near the end of his life, but he was an elite sideline reporter in my opinion.
Adrian Karsten.
That's him, Adrian Karsten.
I feel like
tremendous guy. So Keith Jackson, Herb Street, Pat Summerall, and Adrian would be my Mount Rushmore of football broadcasters.
I feel like with sideline reporting, specifically Dunaway, and I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but some of the best sideline reporters are the ones that you don't necessarily feel like they're taking away from the broadcast, they're only adding to the broadcast. And I think that can actually be pretty hard to do, because in a lot of ways you're having to disrupt, in a sense, the broadcast to go down to them. And I think that they're underappreciated in a way as well. Obviously I'm biased, but I think that, those injury reports, those tidbits that you get on the sidelines, things that are overheard, come from a really good sideline reporter. And a lot of information that the color guys are getting too is the sideline reporter saying, hey, I'm overhearing XYZ, so-and-so just went to the injury tent. We don't have time to go down to her or him, but now the main booth has a lot more information. So I think that sideline reporters sometimes get a bad rap, but there is a lot of good that comes from them. And hopefully, you guys will see me down there one day as well.
Yeah, I hope so. Sooner rather than later, because you're that talented. I appreciate that. We'll get to Tyler's viewing menu here in just a second on what he's watching tonight. He's also got our 4 downs later on. Our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, UCA, want to make sure, guys, you stay on top of your health. Okay, so you're 20 and you feel bulletproof. Well, when you move into your 30s, there's a lot of things you need to stay on top of, 30s to 40s, 40s to 50s. They'll walk you through every stage of life with our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com. The number on your screen as well, but urologycentersalabama.com. Check it out, get the information, find out about the 16 great locations near you. Everything from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, everything in between, they will take care of you. It's Urology Centers. Alabama.com, Urology Centers, Alabama.com. And our friends at NASCAR getting ready to roll back to Talladega. EG, tell us about NASCAR.
Absolutely. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Link's 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through the 27th, actually a month away. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Anyway, we had so much fun out there last year. One of my favorite memories here at the Next Round.
Yeah, me too. And hopefully we'll have many, many more of those. And we've got an 11-year warning from the great Jim Nantz yesterday. I've never seen this. He basically is announced an 11-year retirement tour at the Masters.
It's a little unique, I would say, but I guess I'm not complaining. It makes sense. He also, there's been some sources close to him, and let me get your opinion on this, Dunaway, that he feels as though Augusta might gift him a green jacket. Do you think that would be appropriate to do that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I will tell you, he announced yesterday that he will retire after the 2036 Masters.
Yep.
Now, I thought it was a misprint that he'll be retiring after next year's Masters, but that's not the case, because he goes on to say that would be after the 100th Masters, and he thinks that would be a perfect time to go out. But that would put Jim Nantz calling 51 of the 100 Masters at that point. He would have called over half of them. I mean, he'd been part of the broadcast for over half of them. So at that point, when you've had the voice of the Masters basically do half of the events, absolutely, I'd give him a green jacket on the way out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be a very classy move from Augusta. There are also some rumors that they'll make him a member, which that would be, I mean, I think that would be my parting gift I would ask for. Let me be a member of Augusta National, but I do think that would be an incredible gesture of goodwill, considering, like you said, that would be over half of the Masters that he's called. I don't know about you, Dunaway. I have definitely put on old rounds of the Masters on YouTube on a Sunday and just listened, and with no shame, definitely fallen asleep and enjoyed every second of it. Specifically the 2019 Masters. That's when I typically go back to.
So that's like sleep sound for you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like I put ocean sounds on at night sometimes if I can't go to sleep, and you put the Masters on. That's brilliant, because I have fallen asleep to golf tournaments before.
It's very relaxing. Try it out in the chat too. Let me know. 2019 Masters, see what you think.
Yeah, and help you go to sleep. But Jim Nantz, job well done. Hopefully he can stay healthy and make it to 2036 in the 100th Masters. And if you give him a membership, then I mean you won't really be able to use it, right? Because I mean he'll be really old.
How old will he be?
I assume he's got to be. He's definitely in his 60s. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he was 64.
Put your guesses in.
I'm gonna say 63. 63 for Jim Nantz. Yeah.
Okay. It is 65.
65. So he'd be 76 years old.
I mean,
or 75, 76.
You could play a lot of golf at that age. You can still play a lot of golf. And I think I'd get out of bed for Augusta.
Don't you think though that he gets to play Augusta a lot? He lives on Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
On the West Coast, so he's not in Augusta all the time. Don't you feel like that anytime he's in the area, that somebody would pick him up and say, yeah, let's go play, Jimmy?
Potentially. But I think too, like the lure of having you be on that membership list would be worth it, even if he was in Pebble Beach, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There are people, right? There are people all over the country that are members at Augusta National who aren't there eating Sunday brunch every day during the year. All right. Viewing menu brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. When it comes time for you to need maybe a prescription glasses, or if you're tired of wearing the glasses, do what Lance did over 2 decades ago, and that's go see our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. They were the pioneers that brought laser surgery to Birmingham, and they stay on top of it. They do it better than anybody else in town. They are wonderful people, family owned right there, customer service. It's a family business. It is Michelson Laser Vision. What are you watching tonight, Tyler?
Got a couple new releases in the theater tonight. First off, we got a horror movie called The Woman in the Yard. A mysterious woman repeatedly appears in a family's front yard, often delivering chilling warnings and unsettling messages, leaving them to question her identity, motives, and the potential danger she might pose. Me and Tim will be seeing this one later today.
I think I would handle that situation in a certain way, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
It sounds like you probably couldn't do that, EG. Sounds like this person is not of this world.
Maybe.
I just those type of things freak me out, Tyler. I'm not a big scary movie kind of guy, and I don't like jump scares, and I don't like anything that could open up a portal to the underworld. So no, thank you.
That's fair. We've also got a new Jason Statham movie tonight called A Working Man. He leaves his profession behind to work construction and be a good dad to his daughter, but when a local girl vanishes, he's asked to return to the skills that made him a mythic figure in the shadowy world of counterterrorism. It's basically every other Jason Statham movie as of late. He's working this job that's kind of unassuming, but he's secretly an assassin. So if you're a fan of that, if you're a fan of Jason Statham movies, you got a new one.
So basically, I'm just a normal construction guy.
So they say.
Yeah, it's very different from his last movie, The Beekeeper, where he was just a normal beekeeper that was secretly an assassin.
Okay.
I like it. Okay, that makes sense. What else you got for us? Anything else?
That's all I've got for today.
All right, that's what Tyler is watching. A couple of movies there. One that I would find interesting. The other one I wouldn't touch with especially if it's dark out in the garden. When I bump into that lady, you
Agreed.
wouldn't see it all. That's Michelson Laser Vision Viewing Menu. Show also brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Hey, listen, Scott showed you those pictures of my sandwich last night at historic Katz Deli. You don't have to go to New York to get that true, authentic New York deli sandwich for lunch or dinner. They've got them right now at New York Butcher Shop. Not just right now. They've had them since they opened. Cahaba Heights and Highway 119, just off 280, the two locations of New York Butcher Shop. It's not just the great meats that you go in there. It's not just the great wine. It is a true New York deli at New York Butcher Shop there. Go in there and get those deli sandwich. The meat's set just as high as you saw in my pictures from Katz last night. You get a little bit of that brought to you right there in our neighborhood with Jim and the guys at New York Butcher. Go check them out. Another hour of the next round is coming up as we broadcast live from Newark in Birmingham. It is game day for Alabama. We go back and hear from Bama players up next right here on TNR.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway, is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. What a great time of year to be online with our friends at MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, here's the schedule for tonight of the NCAA Tournament as we move to hour number 2 on the next round, live from Newark, New Jersey, and also there in Birmingham. Little tease in Atlanta today as Auburn arrived last night after their reverse Tiger Walk. The scene down at Auburn for reverse Tiger Walk, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 deep Auburn fans lining the short walk there from the basketball facility into the buses to go over to the airport and then to Atlanta. Just a great scene down at Auburn as the Tigers left as the number 1 overall seed, and they get a chance to try to live up to their potential as the top seed in this tournament and maybe bring home a trip to the Final Four and a national championship when it's all said and done. And Taylor is in Atlanta, Taylor Korn, and she'll be covering us on everything Auburn later on today when they meet the media. You can get that at Next Round Live on all social media platforms. And much like the Alabama Media Day yesterday here in Newark, we'll have that for you tomorrow on the show if you don't catch it on our social media platforms throughout the day. All of our coverage today being brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag. That includes the bracket. Hopefully you guys are doing well in that, trying to win the prizes. Don't give up yet, though. Mybookie.ag has fun games for you to play all the way through basketball and then the start of baseball season today. And you get a sign-up bonus of 50% deposit bonus right there, up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That is next round at mybookie.ag. mybookie.ag. Go and play the games right now. All right, EG. Again, the schedule tonight. Alabama, BYU, the first one. We're about to talk more about that one. 6:09 CBS. Then it's Florida and Maryland, 6:39 on TBS. Duke and Arizona, 8:39 on CBS. And Arkansas and Texas Tech, 9:09 on TBS. I want to bombard you with some information and stats here.
Let's do it.
If Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan State, and Texas Tech all win. Okay, so that's possible. Nobody plays each other there. So if Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan State, and Texas Tech all win their Sweet 16 games, it'll be a great day for Ken Pomeroy, the guy who does the Ken Pom ratings, because that would leave the Elite Eight would all be the top 8 teams in the Ken Pom ratings.
Wow.
So if all 8 of those win, the top 8 teams in Ken Pom would be the final 8 teams left, and that's never ever happened before.
I'm almost
That's pretty crazy.
It is crazy, and I'm kind of surprised. Well, I say that. I'm not surprised that hasn't happened before, and that gets into the discussion of where we're at with the tournament in terms of, super conferences and who's represented here in the Sweet 16. But I really enjoy the Ken Pom ratings. I think that was something that I, started kind of being introduced to when I was at Georgia Southern covering our basketball team. And it's so fun to keep up with him, and he does such a good job that would be a pretty impressive feat to have those top 8 teams in. And that's very doable, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those are, I think a lot of people have those teams winning those games. So it would take an upset, I think, for not the 8 teams in Ken Pom to be the final 8 teams left. That's how chalky this tournament has been so far. Before we get back to the sound, just a couple of other observations. We do have 3 1 versus 4, the chalky number 1 playing the 4 seeds. That's Florida and Maryland, Duke and Arizona, and Houston and Purdue. Last year, you had 2 of those games, 1 versus 4. And in both those games, the 4 team pulled the upset.
Interesting. So we need to circle those games tonight, see what happens there. We've talked about it a lot already, how this is the first time, and Dunaway, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say since 2011, that a team not lower than 11th has not made the tournament. A roundabout
Sweet
way,
16.
Sweet 16. That's a roundabout way of saying basically the teams are getting better, more elite, and we have a lot more of those higher seeds making it to this point in the tournament.
That's right. But when you get here, just being the 1 seed, playing that 4, didn't go well last year. And if you say, okay, well, Alabama's a 2 seed, then what does history say about the 2 versus the 6? Well, you should know that in the Sweet 16, the 6 seed, if a 6 seed is in the Sweet 16, they are on a 4-game win streak. The 6 seed has won their last 4 Sweet 16 games. So BYU will try to make it 5 by upsetting Alabama tonight. We'll go back to the sound, brought to you today by our friends at A+. A+, taking care of all of your building needs. Man, they've helped out the Browns and the Taylors so much. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Brad Bell specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. If you're tired of that old, outdated bath and shower, like the Browns were, they called Brad Bell with the folks at A+ Tile Home Remodeling, and they took care of the remodel right there. His estimate's better than anyone else, especially those cheap, completely redone bathrooms that they just drop in. And it's not a build out. They just sort of cover up your old grungy old other one. It's just a disgusting thing. Brad Bell's quote's going to be cheaper than that. So go check it out. Call Brad today or text him 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758. That's his personal cell number there. He'll help you out. 205-422-1758. Brad and his team now serving Huntsville and Mobile as well. So make the call that the Browns made. Brad Bell at A+ Tile and Home Remodeling. 205-422-1758 right there. Let's go to cut number 4, if you can. Tyler, cut number 4. You get a little Mark Sears, Mo Diabate here for Alabama. And they're talking about what will be the key of the game tonight. I don't think anybody's worried about Alabama scoring tonight. They're worrying about Alabama scoring more than BYU. And to help the case, Mark and Mo say they need to come out and be the most physical team. Here are the Bama players on the podium yesterday.
Hearing all the big time outlets saying we're soft, we're this and that, it's definitely internal motivation, and we basically got a point to prove that we're not soft. We're tough, and just basically a point to prove on defense.
Being called soft, that's like something that you don't want towards your team or your name. So, and like last year, we realized we can't lose. If we lose, we go home. And we had we said we're gonna play for Estrada because it was his last season playing college basketball, and this year we got a lot of 5th-year guys that's not gonna be here, and we all realized it's either win or go home. So and we want to win, so that's kind of the motto.
Yeah, I forgot how there was they had one guy that was running out of eligibility, and that was Estrada last year, and it was a rallying point there in the locker room. And this year, it's, you got Mark Sears, you got Amori, you got Grant Nelson, and you got CY, Chris Youngblood. There's a number of guys that when they lose their next game, it'll be their last college basketball game. And EG, you know this, you've covered the sport for a few years now. That's great motivation.
It is.
To know that this could be your last game.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a tournament like this, it's been so exciting up until this point for Alabama. You look back at last season as well. I feel like this is, what they're using as their chip on their shoulder, being called soft, and also having that realization, like Mo was saying, that it is win or go home. I think every team kind of has that moment. I think Auburn had that moment, and we saw them come to life against Creighton. And Alabama is now in that mode. I've also heard a lot from Mark Sears saying that, getting stops is going to be key in a game like this against BYU. These are 2 really elite offenses, and it's going to be a fun watch too, Dunaway, because they're very quick tempo. Alabama does have the edge there. BYU runs the 0.5 offense, so it's going to be, you have 0.5 seconds to shoot, dribble, drive, or pass, and that's going to be the way that they try and take Alabama's defense off guard by getting those kind of wide open shots behind the arc.
Yeah, and then that brings up defense, and Nate Oates, cut number 3, Tyler. Cut 3, Nate Oates talks defense. He does this all the time. There's not a news conference that Nate Oates has done really since last year when the defense started not playing well, not up to what they were 2 years ago when they were the number 1 overall seed and they were an elite defensive team. But last year they became a pretty low mid defensive team for most of the year. And Nate kept preaching, we got to play better defense. I'm never going to have a team. He made a point to build a team this year that had better defensive parts, like Cliff Amore coming in, Aiden Sherrill. And he did. He's got a better defensive team this year than he had last year, but he still wants more. Everyone pictures and puts Nate Oates in a box about an offensive NBA-style guy. He loves defense. He preaches defense all the time, and he was doing it yesterday on the podium again.
I'd appreciate it if you guys put a lot more talk out there about our defense isn't good enough to win this game so that we could show our guys that nobody believes in them like last year. So, yeah, I mean, our defense wasn't any good last year. I think we weren't even in the top 100 on defense. So it was pretty easy to show our guys that our defense isn't good enough. We struggled there at the end of the year. They finally got the guys to wake up after we lost the first round of the SEC tournament. They lost, at the end of the regular season. I think this year our defense is significantly better. It's still not where we'd like it to be, and it's going to have to get significantly better to make another Final Four run, because the next 2 teams we play, if we're fortunate to even have a second game, BYU's got the number 1 offense in the country, I think since February 12th or something like that, and then Duke and Arizona are 2 of the best offenses in the country as well.
Yeah, so this is the offensive region. This is where the best offenses are, and you can't look ahead to possibly playing Duke, who, by the way, has 4 projected NBA first-round draft picks, guys that will be picked in the top 20 of the NBA draft when the season's over with. They got 4 of those. They by far have more NBA talent than anybody else left in this tournament right now. They've got 4. BYU's got 1 that we talked about with Igor earlier in the show today. So defense is going to be, a talking point for this game. Even though we're going to have all these points scored tonight, it may come down to just somebody getting a couple of good defensive stops.
For you, Dunaway, you've covered Alabama all season long. I'm curious, where do you feel like you've seen their best defensive performance? And do you feel like that's kind of the ceiling for them, or do you feel like there's still more to be had in that area?
I was really fired up with the defensive effort they had against St. Mary's the last game in Cleveland. And then talking with some basketball people, they made a great point that, yes, they had to be elite defensively and they had to be so physical against the St. Mary's bigs, but the pace that St. Mary's played at slowed it down and, tried to milk the shot clock every time, allowed Alabama to sort of settle in and make sure they were matched up and everybody was in the right position. It wasn't a frantic pace. So that sort of helped a defense that sometimes gets caught out of position by being a little slower, and it allowed them to sort of process everything and get into a good position and then man up and play really hard. Tonight with BYU, you mentioned the 0.5 offense, whatever it is, 5-second offense. It'll be a fire drill at both ends of the court. And you've got to make your defensive decisions so quick, and it's got to be the right one, and it's got to be quick. And that at times has cost Alabama some issues this year. They've won some of those games, like Kentucky 3 times. But there are some times that playing even at their pace that they should be used to, they don't quickly process what they should be doing defensively, and that becomes a problem for them. Hopefully they're right on tonight, and that helps them out tremendously. I did want to point this out about where Alabama is in the world of basketball. 16 teams left. Alabama and Purdue both were in the Final Four last year. Nobody that was in the 2023 Final Four is in this tournament. Duke was in the 2022 Final Four, and Houston was in the 2021 Final Four. So you got 4 teams that since the pandemic have been Final Four teams. The pandemic 2020, we didn't have a Final Four. 2019 Final Four, you've got 3 teams from that trip to Minneapolis that I went on for my first Final Four. You got 3 teams still alive in this tournament: Auburn, Michigan State, and Texas Tech. Now, none of them won it. Virginia did. But Auburn, who lost to Virginia, Michigan State, who lost to Texas Tech, and then Texas Tech, who lost in the national championship game, they're all in this tournament from 2019. That was a pretty special Final Four that year. And you got 2 from last year's. There's no NC State and there's no UConn, but Purdue and Alabama still hoping to get back to the Final Four.
Well, and there's also a layer with Chris Beard, too, because he was a part of that 2019 Texas Tech team. Now he's with Ole Miss. And Georgia Southern always comes back to it. Our former head coach, Brian Berg, who was with Coach Beard at Texas Tech, had a head coaching stint at Southern, is now back with Chris Beard at Ole Miss. And so there's a lot of, crossovers and ties between all of these staffs. And obviously Chris Beard is with Texas Tech, but he's still making his appearance.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Ole Miss, they've never gone to a Final Four. Tennessee's never gone to a Final Four, which is hard to believe.
It really is.
26 times they've been in the NCAA tournament, and they've never gone to a Final Four. So Ole Miss, Tennessee, and then BYU has never gone to the Final Four. They actually have more tournament appearances at 31 than anybody in the history of the NCAA tournament without going to the Final Four. So BYU, Tennessee, and Ole Miss trying to do something they have never done before. For the other schools, Michigan was last in it in 2018 in the Final Four, Kentucky in 2015, which is hard to believe it's been that long, a decade since Kentucky's been to a Final Four. Florida was in it in 2014. Maryland last was in it in 2002 when they won it over at the Georgia Dome. Arizona was last in it in 2001. And Arkansas hasn't been in the Final Four since Nolan Richardson back in 1995. So a little history there of what Alabama is trying to do, go back to back to the Final Four, them and Purdue still alive there. All right, we're about to do our Bojangles 4 downs. Before we get to that, I want to tell you about our wonderful friends at Johnson RV, johnsonrvcenter.com. Get camping in the all-new Wolf Pup 16 LP for only $129 a month with approved credit. Check out the latest from some of the nation's top-selling RVs with Johnson RV Center. Also, RV Warranty Forever allows you to have a lifetime warranty on all new RVs and any qualifying used RV. I-65 exit 304 is one location in Coleman. I-65 exit 334 in Decatur is another great location, and you can always shop online at johnsonrvcenter.com, johnsonrvcenter.com. And EG, tell us about our friends at Bojangles. They bring us 4 downs.
Absolutely. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. Bojangles' signature Cajun chicken filet drizzled with bowberry glaze and sandwiched between warm waffles. Available for just a limited time, so get out to your local Bojangles. It is bow time.
First down.
Tyler?
Whoop, sorry about that.
There
Had the
we go.
wrong button pressed. The George Lopez Show premiered 23 years ago. It initially started on ABC, but then really found its success on Nick at Night. So I have to ask, what is your favorite show to watch late at night? Either one from your childhood or teenage years or college years, whatever.
I'm going to go Cops.
Cops is a good one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Unexpected, Dunaway?
I would have never guessed you as a Cops person.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I mean, I just enjoy kind of the chaos a little bit. I don't like crime, even though I'm saying cops. Like, I don't like the serial killer stuff. But, like, a good, like, police chase over, like, some robbery, I don't mind that.
Live PD late at night.
Live PD is good. Yeah, I feel like Cops evolved into Live PD. The Atlanta ones are kind of disheartening, though, because it's a little too close to home.
Wow. I could have sat here and guessed 100 shows.
What would you have thought? What would have been your initial guess?
Oh my gosh.
Like, say yes to the dress?
I don't
be
know.
Honest.
I mean, it would have been something fashion, or it would have been something, I don't know, a little bit more, I don't know, something like your buddy Ush and Mayberry, something cookies and cream,
Yeah.
nothing as gritty as Cops.
Cops.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Wow. You surprise me every day.
I do, Dunaway. It's my favorite thing to do.
Hey, for me, it's Letterman.
Oh, yeah. You were on
Oh,
Letterman
used to
at
work
one.
there.
Yeah.
Easy one.
Look at you, Forrester. All right.
Second
Dunaway. Oh, wait, did Dunaway answer?
Oh,
no,
yeah,
I
that's good.
didn't.
Did you answer?
Can you go back and watch old Lettermans late at night? Can you do that?
I'm sure they're on YouTube.
Oh, that's something I'd like to do, because I think I'm right about this. Letterman, when I was in college, was the late night show after the Tonight Show, and we didn't like the Tonight Show, but we'd get back to the dorm or the frat house and, occasionally throw on Letterman and watch, stupid people tricks and that kind of things. It was really, really good. For me, I've seen every episode of this, and so this trip to New York has helped me. Like Law and Order, I've seen every episode, the original, and it's like comfort food for me.
Yeah.
Like if I'm sick and just stuck in bed, Law and Order's on somewhere all the time, 24 hours a day in the world. And if it's not, I can stream it now. But I've seen every one. I can't tell you how many episodes is, hey, Lenny, we need to go down to the Port Authority and check on this or that. I was at the Port Authority last night. Or, hey, we've got a murder down in the village, blah, 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 blah. And I was in the village last night. So to be able to run past these places that I've heard on Law and Order all these years, just it's comfort food for me. So that's what I enjoy late at night if I need to kick back and sort of go mindless, numb.
Yeah.
Just sit there and no brain waves working, just let something wash over me.
Second down.
Happy birthday to Fergie. She turns 50 today. What is your favorite Fergie or Black Eyed Peas song?
I can't believe she's 50. She looks fabulous. Good for Fergie. I would say Meet Me Halfway. It's a good one.
That is a good one.
Oh, wow. I'm going to be very basic here. Very mid. My humps.
Nice.
That's right?
I'm
My
not
humps.
surprised. Yeah.
Are you shocked that I like that song?
No, I'm not shocked. No.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's one I can name. Did she do a cover of like something about girls not crying? Do I remember
Big Girls
that
Don't
song,
Cry.
Tyler? Do you remember that one?
Big Girls Don't Cry. Yeah.
Yep, I remember that one.
Yeah.
Hey, nobody wants to mention her rendition of the national anthem?
That's true.
That was a good one.
That was so awesome. I listen to that every once in a while just to get, hyped up for the day.
Oh, so was it really good?
No, it was so
No.
bad. It was so bad.
Okay, that's what I thought. I
It
thought
was
you guys
brutal.
were being sarcastic. Yeah, I thought you guys were taking me to Bo Diabate's barbershop.
Back to Scott's answer. You got to go back and watch the Black Eyed Peas Super Bowl halftime show. It is truly awful.
Really?
It's so bad that it's good. It's
Yeah,
like
that
watching
was-
a train wreck.
That was prime lip syncing, right?
I
Were they
wish it was the right time, but they didn't lip sing as well, or well, I guess they had live vocals as well as lip sing, but
Okay.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
Okay, I'll have to go check that one out.
Second.
Wrong button.
Third down.
All right, White Men Can't Jump premiered today in 1992. So what's your favorite Woody Harrelson or Wesley Snipes role?
Haymitch Abernathy in the Hunger Games. I actually listened to his podcast with Joe Rogan on the way to the players, and it was really interesting. He's an interesting man.
It was a good role for him.
I loved him in he and Demi Moore. It's a Indecent Proposal. I thought he played that really well. Heartbroken, but White Man Can't Jump is the best Woody Harrelson role, right? White Man Can't Jump, Billy.
I mean, it's a good one. Billy Hoyle. I really like EG's answer of the Hunger Games because that really brought him back. Zombieland is a classic Woody Harrelson role. And then you've also got True Detectives. You can go back to the 90s for Natural Born Killers.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
He's also in my favorite movie, No Country for Old Men.
That's true.
Does not end well for him. Spoiler
that.
alert.
No, it doesn't. It does not. Ooh. I'm gonna go with. Where is it? I'm gonna go with Zombieland, and then Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Nice.
That covers it all pretty well. He and Wesley Snipes in a couple of movies together, huh? Oh, we're doing Wesley Snipes separate. Okay.
Oh, we're doing West. Oh.
Well, I mean, you could do either or. I worded the question poorly.
Well, I actually like Wesley Snipes, and White Man Can't Jump too. So
I am having to look through Wesley Snipes movies, so I'm just going to stick with Woody Harrelson as Hamish Abernathy.
4th down.
All right. What's the best pizza you can make with up to 3 toppings?
Margarita pizza. Basil, mozzarella, some tomatoes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm simple. Pepperoni, mushroom. I only need 2.
Okay. No cheese?
Well,
Does cheese count as a topping?
Yeah, okay. Cheese,
Okay.
pepperoni.
well, cheese counts. Cheese counts. I love the spicy Hawaiian at Slice, one of our great longtime sponsors there. I love what is that? The Canadian bacon that it has on there,
Little pineapple.
and then the pineapple and the jalapenos to go with the cheese. That is fantastic in the crust. So that is my favorite go-to. A little spicy and sweet.
I'm going to go with mushrooms, black olives, and give me some bacon.
Ooh. I think I'm not going to get a slice of that one. And I may consider getting a slice of Dunaway's, the spicy Hawaiian. I do love Slice. I'm not a big black olives fan.
Oh, I'll eat black olives like on their own.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Delicious.
I'll do that with jalapenos, which, freaks some people out. But
Interesting.
Me too.
Not black
Me
olives.
too. Eat them like chips.
That's 4 downs.
Oh, that's all of them? That's 4? All right.
That was 4
Brought
of
to you by our friends. Brought to you by our friends at Bojangles. We appreciate them so much with our Bo 4 downs every day. And our friends at New Life. New Life Art. It's time for another great Alabama memory. Maybe Daniel A. Moore will be painting something from San Antonio a little bit later on. Anyway, he's done a lot of great works, including the legend Nick Saban, 6 national championships. You can purchase that right now and check out any other of the great works over the years. Alabama or Auburn football, some basketball memories as well. Right there from Daniel Moore by going to danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. Another 90 minutes left in this show from Newark on game day for Alabama. More on the Tide's battle with the Cougs coming up. And later on today, Taylor Corn in Atlanta as Auburn has arrived for their Friday Sweet 16 game. They'll be meeting the media and practicing at State Farm Arena. You'll get all that at Next Round Live. At Next Round Live, the show brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
At 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Start with the most exciting game on hardwood. Add the best ballers in the country, a seasoned culminating tourney, the smell of popcorn in the air, and hundreds of your closest friends absolutely losing it along with you. That's Fandom U. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA Division I Women's Sweet 16 and Elite 8, March 28th through the 31st in Birmingham. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/WBB tickets. Class dismissed.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in-store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, back with you on the next round as we get ready for a big Sweet 16 game night here in New Jersey, just across the Hudson from New York City. Also, we've got other games happening here. We got Duke playing Arizona after Alabama and BYU play, and then a couple in San Francisco, Florida, and Maryland, Arkansas, and Texas Tech, part of the Sweet 16 evening tonight. No Cinderella left. I wanted to ask you guys and bring Forrester in. I don't know if Tyler has one, but who would be, and I'd love to see some chat comments too. Who would be everyone's favorite Cinderella of all time in the NCAA tournament?
Well, mine is.
I'm gonna tell you.
Well,
okay, you tell me yours.
I would say mine is kind of not a cop out, but it's unique, and it's my dad because he played in March Madness for Georgia Southern.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, back in the 80s. And so they actually lost to Robert Morris in the second round. So it's not really a Cinderella story, but I mean, it's pretty cool that my dad's team actually made it to the tournament that year, and then he did play some minutes. So wasn't very likely, but that would be mine.
Before we get Forrester's, and I just assume, I don't want to pay anybody in the box, that Tyler, you don't have one. But mine was the Butler team that went to the Final Four in back-to-back years. And I know it's hard to say that a team went to the Final Four in back-to-back years, and they actually made the national championship game. But Gordon Hayward and that great Butler, Ronald Norrad, who was from our area, it was the point guard on that team. That was one Cinderella I had no problem getting behind back in the day. And they both made it. 2 years, they made it back-to-back to the Final Four and almost won a national championship. That was some great television back in March Madness. Forrester, do you have one at Pops?
Yeah, I'm going St. Peter's. You know, the team that knocked off what they knocked off Kentucky.
The Peacocks.
Yeah, the Peacocks. I think they took out Purdue at some point too.
They busted a lot of people's brackets.
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
2023. I think it.
Yeah, 22.
22.
Yeah. And they just kept winning and eliminating people. I would imagine another one that's popular in the chat, EG, back me up here, is going to be Sister Jean's Loyola Chicago team that I also think made it. I think they made it to the Final Four too, didn't they, Forrester? Pretty sure they did. Yeah,
We've got
I think so.
2006 George Mason, 1983 North Carolina State Wolfpack, that Butler team that should have beat Duke. And then Jay says, I enjoyed the Loyola Chicago Sister Jean storyline in St. Peter's.
Yeah, Loyal's run ended in the Final Four by Michigan.
Yeah, and Porter Moser, who coaches at Oklahoma,
was the coach of that team. That wasn't too long ago. And Sister Jean, who's still alive, I believe, she was 100, wasn't she, or close to it?
I thought she was over 100.
I think she did.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think she's at least turned 100 since then, and I think she's still alive.
She's
She is
105.
105.
Wow.
Wow.
And still alive.
Born August 21st, 1919.
That is
Wow.
great. Think about all that she has lived through.
Yeah, the Depression, first
The
off.
Depression, and she was like old enough to remember that. Both World
Yep.
Wars, Civil Rights Movement, COVID, all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Florida
Landing
Gulf
on the
Coast. Florida Gulf Coast getting a lot of love in the chat too. Lob City Punch.
Nope, I remember that. That guy went on to coach where? He went to USC, and he left recently.
To go to SMU, I think.
I think so too. So it's funny how you remember the coaches and not really some of the players. What was the Florida Gulf Coast mascot, or still is? They haven't changed it. Anybody
It's a
remember
bird,
that?
right?
What were they?
Are they the bird?
Osprey.
Osprey. Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
I thought FGCU.
I think they're the Eagles.
Eagles.
The Eagles.
Hold on.
The Osprey. Where'd that come with Osprey? Is that even a thing?
No, I think it
All right,
is.
I don't know if
The
that's
show
a
brought to-
mascot, but that is a bird.
the show brought
North
to
Florida.
you.
North Florida, Dunaway. North Florida Ospreys.
Okay.
There you
North
go.
Florida
We're close.
Ospreys. There you go. We're going to do our football spotlight before we get back into the basketball conversation. If you can get that ready to go, Tyler. It is brought to you by our friend Alexander Shannara. I'll tell you more about Shannara. Actually, EG will tell you more about Shannara after Tyler hits the open.
The College Football Spotlight.
Absolutely. If you need a lawyer, contact Alexander Shannara's office. Trial attorneys, they are a national firm with Southern roots, headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama. In 24 years, the firm has grown to over 150 lawyers, supported by over 500 dedicated team members. Their elite trial lawyers have recovered over $2 billion by maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case.
Yeah, I will tell you the spotlight question in a second, but first I want to remind everybody that Jordan Edmonds, the number one cornerback and a top 10 overall recruit, picked Alabama yesterday in the recruiting process. 6'3", 175 corner. Picked Bama over Georgia and Tennessee. He's from Marietta, Georgia. So we'll see if the Tide can hold on to him all the way until signing day. But he is a big part of now a four-person 2026 class for Kalen DeBoer and the crew over there. Here's the spotlight that I wanted to give you. Mike Gundy is giving us this. And this is off what we discussed yesterday with Colorado and Syracuse petitioning the NCAA to play each other in a spring game in Boulder, Colorado. Mike Gundy says, thanks for asking me about that, guys. It reminds me of an idea I pitched and hope one day will happen. He thinks Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, Bedlam, they should get together and do that every spring and give the money, split the gate down the middle and give that to the NIL from each school. He said charge 25 a head is what he said. And then we'll play it at our place. Either we keep all the money and they keep all the money at their place, or we split it 50-50 each year. And it just goes straight to the NIL for the players. Because Bedlam's gone away. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State will not play each other since Oklahoma's in the SEC. I have a feeling, though, if they did sign up to do that, that game would be taken a little bit more serious than just a spring game. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that it is a great idea. I like the mindset of it. I think that the NIL funding portion of it actually makes a lot of sense. But like you, Dunaway, I do think that things might get a little out of hand. But Mike Gundy has shared similar sentiments with other coaches in college football, saying that they're tired of going against each other all spring, all summer, all of fall camp, and to have an opportunity like this where they'd practice against each other for a few days, then go into that spring game. It would be interesting. I obviously would love to, cover that the first time they do it. I think we all would love to head out there and just see what it would look like. But kind of controlling your players not to go full out, that might be a little more risk than reward in that facet.
And I think the fan base would, I mean, if you're going to scrimmage against your rival,
Yeah.
I think at that point the fans would expect you to win the scrimmage.
Yes.
However that looks, because it's against your rival. It'd be almost another box you're judged by every year. My God, he's lost 3 straight spring games to Oklahoma. That would sound asinine, but it would happen.
No, absolutely. And I think we had this conversation yesterday about what would happen if coaches were getting graded on these spring games, because obviously Deion Sanders and Syracuse, they're wanting to kind of formulate something similar to this. They got it off the ground, if you will, and other coaches are now following suit and being asked about it. And I think naturally fans and donors and boosters would start, following that trend of, okay, if you can't beat someone in the spring, what are you going to do come this fall?
Yeah. So that's our spotlight today, brought to you by Alexander Shannara. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. That's Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. They bring you the college football spotlight every day on our show. But of course, it's a big basketball day.
Mm-hmm.
But while we're talking NIL, Kevin Willard is the coach at Maryland.
Yep.
Cut number 10, Forrester sent this to me this morning, and he said, man, this is a masterclass in deflecting a question. Kevin Willard at Maryland has been adamant about Maryland's athletic department needing to make a commitment to winning through NIL, fundraising, facilities, and all that, but more NIL money. He's been outspoken about that. Kevin Willard, cut number 10, gets asked about being so outspoken about needing more for his program to be successful.
Kevin, obviously, you've been very open the last week about, trying to get greater NIL share, revenue share. I'm sure you saw Mike Loxley yesterday said he would prefer to keep some of these issues in-house. Why have you felt like kind of bringing this discussion in the open has been the best way to advocate for your program?
Well, I'll be honest. I think our biggest thing is we got to stop Clayton. He's really good. He shoots the basketball going left 48%. He shoots it right going at like 38%. So really the last couple of days, trying to come up with a game plan to stop, Clayton, because I just think he's one of the best guards in the country that we've seen. And then really, obviously trying to fix our rebounding woes have been at the top of my mind too. So yeah, it's a big problem.
He's so smooth with that. I mean, that was pretty incredible on his part. But I mean, Dunaway, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this situation? Obviously, he has not signed that extension, and that has caused some, concern. And he's under contract through 2029. What do you make of this, and how does a win potentially in the Sweet 16 help solidify his spot at Maryland?
Maryland's won a national championship in 2002, so that's been this century. They've been off the beaten path for a long time. Kevin Willard is a Rick Pitino disciple. He's very well respected in the basketball circles, but I don't know if a job better than Maryland would come calling on Kevin Willard right now. Maybe a win here, pulling an upset over Florida tonight out in San Francisco would change that perception, but I don't really think Kevin Willard, who's done a good job at Maryland, not a great job at Maryland. It's good to see them back on the stage. I don't know if he's got a bigger job in him. So if I was him, I don't mind him fighting for Maryland to do more, but I think I would hold to what I had if I was Kevin Willard there with the Terps. And they play Florida tonight, and Florida didn't look their best against UConn, but they have Walter Clayton Jr. Tyler, if you'll give me cut number 11, Todd Golden, who's a brilliant coach. I love this guy at Florida. He's a Bruce Pearl disciple, worked with Bruce Pearl there. He gets asked about Walter Clayton Jr. and Steph Curry. Those two are being combined, or not combined. They're being talked about in the same breath, that Walter Clayton Jr.'s game is starting to have people compare him to Steph Curry. So Todd Golden gets asked about that in San Francisco at their shoot around yesterday.
I think Walt is
you can pull a lot of similarities, from his style of play to NBA players. Obviously, the way he shoots the basketball, it's especially to people in the Bay, it might sound crazy to compare him to Steph, right? I mean, he's won a ton of NBA championships and MVPs, but from a college version, I think it's applicable, to say that he's similar to Steph. His off-balance shooting, his ability to get his shot off, at different times, and just his confidence to let it fly from deep. I think those things are very, very similar to compare to Steph. I think he plays a lot like Jalen Brunson as well. Just kind of the way he can handle the ball, but get off it and get the ball back and be a playmaker, decision maker. He's done a great job setting up his teammates all year, and he's just turned into a really complete player, especially on the offensive end, and he's done a great job leading our team all year.
He really has. He's the best player. Maybe right now in the tournament. I think maybe he's playing better, Walter Clayton Jr. is, than obviously Janai Broome, where Janai's been right now. But I think he's playing even better than Cooper Flagg is right now. And this Florida team is dangerous. And without Walter Clayton Jr., they would be back in Gainesville starting off-season workouts because he saved them in the UConn game late. This team seems to be complete. I love this team. I love them tonight. I would be shocked if Maryland pulls the upset.
Yeah, I think what Florida has going for them is their depth is really strong, but you have a guy like Walter Clayton Jr. He had 23 points against UConn. 15 of those were three-pointers, and I think it was interesting how his coach, kind of approached that because he tempered those expectations a little bit too, because the last thing you want this time of year is for your players, to use a Nick Saban quote, start consuming that rat poison and things like that. But I don't think Florida has a lot of doubters, and you see Alabama on the other side they're using those doubts as a way to fuel them. One of the hardest things in sports really is when you're at the top of that mountain, you have to create your own motivation because there's no external voices saying that you can't do this and things like that. I think Maryland has a tough task at hand. But the UConn game, Dunaway, it showed that Florida is not invincible.
Yeah, and they do have an NBA player in Queen, the big man in there, who hit the big shot to keep Maryland's hopes alive. But as scary as Florida was to almost losing to UConn, Maryland needed almost a miracle, a couple extra steps and a bank shot to advance and get a chance to play Florida. The other game, last game of the night out in San Francisco, is another SEC team. That is Arkansas. And they get to battle Texas Tech. And I think that a lot of our chat room and our viewers would agree with us that this is a potential 10-seed Arkansas that could win this game tonight. Cut number 9, Tyler, John Calipari, talking about it. And this has been the sort of a coaching phrase and mindset that Cal is talking about that I've heard several coaches mention last year, and this continues to be preached this year, that they approach every stop on the NCAA tournament as just a small mini tournament. Like Nate Oates said, we need to win the tournament here in Cleveland. Yeah. And they did. They moved on. Now he's like, now we need to win the tournament here and move on. It's a 14 tournament, says John Calipari, as the Hogs get ready to battle Texas Tech.
I want this to be like regular season. Like nothing has changed. The board hasn't changed. What we do, our shoot-arounds don't change. Everything is the same, so I want them to feel comfortable that this is no different. And we're in a tournament. Last tournament was Kansas, Omaha, St. John's, and us. This tournament is Maryland, Florida, Texas Tech, and us. Don't worry about any other games. It's just you're in a 4-man tournament. Let's worry about doing it here.
Oh, he scared me, EG. I thought he'd forgotten the actual team he was playing at first.
Oh.
That little pause before he said Texas Tech.
That's the worst feeling. It's happened to all of us, I think, but there's nothing worse than you're in a press conference, whether you're a reporter or a coach or player, and you can tell that, like, oh no, are they gonna find it?
Yeah, I actually, I think I've told you this before, but I actually forgot my first question as a sportscaster right out of college. I was interviewing Pat Dye post game right after Auburn had beaten Kentucky at Jordan-Hare Stadium. It's my first professional game to cover as a professional, as a media member. And I am holding, they didn't use a podium back then at Auburn. I'm holding the microphone. Coach is sitting in a chair. He's got a big cup in a Coca-Cola Classic cup, one of those old stadium paper cups with wax sort of on the inside. And it is mixed with Coca-Cola and some other favorite beverage of his.
Of course.
I won't give a name brand, but it did have the smell of a little bourbon in it, a little post-game cocktail.
Okay.
For a coach, it was a different time back
Of course.
then. And so he's sitting there and he puts the cup down as he sits in the chair and he says, "Don't knock my cup over," to me. And I was like, I will not, but it is right near my foot. So I'm nervous about it, but I'm holding microphone. All the greats, the Birmingham, Alf Van Hoos and Herb Winches and all those people are asking questions. And I keep trying to ask a question and I get one word in and somebody else would override me because there's no SID call. It's just, the old, just shouting out questions. Whoa. And I can't get it in. I can't get it in. It's like trying to surf, riding a wave and somebody else keeps jumping in.
I know that feeling well.
It happened to me 3-4 times. And finally, Coach Dye said, let this little fella right here ask a question. Go ahead, man. And I'm holding that microphone. He said, "Little fella, ask a question." I went, "I'm sorry. I forgot my question, Coach." And he said, "It's okay." He patted me on the shoulder. "It's okay. If you remember your question, you let me know." And he went back to answering the other people's questions. It took almost half the season before I was able to get up the nerve to ask him another question. And I didn't spill the cup, though, either.
That's good. That's good. I'm surprised he handled it as well as he did. That was very kind of him.
Well, very casual setting back then, different now.
Well,
and you didn't have coaches really blow up at you back then. I felt like, that was only 1988. That's a long time ago, relatively speaking, in your world. But, for some people, that wasn't like it was the 1950s. But in 88, Auburn and Alabama still felt like they needed, the Birmingham News, the Birmingham Post-Herald, us local TV stations to help with recruiting and to help with fans and tickets and things like that. So they treated you very differently now or then than they do sometimes now, where truthfully, I don't really know if they ever need us anymore because it's such a national thing now. But it was a different time, and I didn't spill the drink, which was probably the most important thing.
That's good because I unfortunately did spill a drink at Coach DeBoer's introductory press conference. But I want to share this story of my first question to Coach Saban. I don't think I've shared this on air, but we've talked about this before. It was when I'd first been hired by the next round. This was not this past September, but the September before. So coming up on 2 years here pretty soon. And I remember I was down in Tuscaloosa, and it may have been mid-October. And you guys didn't really give me any expectations of asking questions during the week. It was more, post-game was my time to shine, right? And so I head down there, and I'm kind of getting the lay of the land. And I'm sitting at my little desk in the Malmore Athletic Facility, and Coach Saban comes out. And when I tell you guys, people would snap into place. You could sense him coming. Very intimidating. My first game was Texas Bama, and I remember I found him in my camera, and I was startled. I felt like I needed to ask him if I could even record him. And so I'm sitting there, and how media works is now you have the SID, who at the time was Josh Maxson, and he would call on different people. And they have these students that come over with the mic, and then they hand you the mic, and you have about, what would you say, Dunaway, like a minute buffer or so between being handed the mic and it's your turn to go? Maybe a minute?
It seems like a minute. It's probably only 30 seconds.
Probably. And so I'm just enjoying it. I'm taking in the scene because I have no question to ask. I'm just trying to get my bearings. And all of a sudden I see a student appear next to me, crouched down with a microphone, hands me the mic. I never raised my hand.
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking, okay, there are people in this room that have their hands raised that are not going to get a question to Coach Saban. I've never actually spoken to him. And I have about 1 minute to get something out of my mouth to ask this man, much less it's Nick Saban. And the student hands me the mic, and my hand is shaking. Oof. And I cannot remember what I asked, but I remember he looked at me, and I had this brief moment, Dunaway, of you have got to get something out. And whatever it was good because Brown texted me, because we were carrying them live at the time, and said, "Hey, good question." And I said, whew, okay, I can do this. So my first question to Nick Saban was not planned.
And you blacked out. You don't remember.
I don't even remember what I said.
Yeah,
it's awful.
That's par for the course there when nerves really take over. All right, how about that? Our first question, yours was to Nick Saban, mine was to Pat Dye.
Look at that. It's pretty awesome.
Look at that. Two legends there. All right, back to Alabama basketball, getting ready for BYU. I'll be heading over to the stadium in about an hour, over to Prudential Center, which is about 30 minutes from the team hotel in Teaneck here. And then we head over to Prudential Center. Alabama will arrive, I think, is projected around 3:30 local time up. Well, it's going to be 3:30 Central Time, 4:30 local time up here. And the 6:09 tip, and we'll see if Alabama can make it to the Elite Eight. We will get to that coming up. We've got the NCAA tournament for the women in town in Magic City. The teams are arriving now, and the madness has arrived to the Magic City. You can be a part of this now this weekend. The NCAA Women's Basketball Regional tipping off at Legacy Arena March 28th through the 31st. Witness the Elite Eight Sweet 16 teams battle for a trip to the 2025 Women's Final Four in Tampa. Don't miss the intensity, don't miss the drama, and don't miss the unforgettable moments of March Madness. Get your tickets right now and be part of the action. Visit ncaa.com/WBB tickets. That's ncaa.com/WBB tickets. For all the information you need, that website is there for you as well, including practice times and game times. It's all for you right there. The madness in the Magic City, the women's NCAA tournament. Get your tickets now. ncaa.com/WBB tickets. More of the next round coming up.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, the final hour of the show before we head over to the arena for tonight's big contest, Alabama and BYU. Just full honesty, I'm a little nervous about this game.
Talk to me.
I think I just believe that Alabama has been an Elite Eight, a top 8 team all season long. So a win tonight gets them, I think, where they belong in the Elite Eight. If they lose tonight, I think this team comes up, a step short of where their potential was. If they win tonight, they get to the Elite Eight. Anything after that is gravy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I want it to end on Saturday, but I'm just saying that I felt like Alabama's been a top 8 team all year long, and a win tonight gets them, I believe, to the expectations where they belong in the top 8 of this year's basketball world. And then you find out, all right, can you be a Final Four team? Can you be a national championship game team? Can you win a national championship? But tonight is that threshold of, can you meet your expectations, or are you going to be a little short of your expectations? That's what's on the line as you try to survive and advance tonight against BYU. And another thing I want to point out, AG, and I want you to take this in, is just how tough it is to win the NCAA tournament. I want you to think about how long it seems like the tournament has been going on now already. We've played 2 rounds. Yep. You've won 2 games, and you've moved cities now. For Alabama, they've won 2 games, and they moved from Cleveland to Newark, New Jersey. For Auburn, they won 2 in Lexington. Now they moved to Atlanta. That seems like you've accomplished a lot, right? Well, if you win this Sweet 16 game tonight, if you're Alabama, and if you win it tomorrow when you're Auburn, you're only halfway to the national championship at that point.
It's crazy.
It seems like you've done a lot, but in reality, you're only halfway. You still have to win 3 more games. You've won 3, and you still have to win 3 more to be national champions. That's why it's the toughest championship to win, in my opinion. And I know people will throw up Omaha and the baseball run that you have to go through, and that is challenging. Football relatively has always been easier. It is different now with the college football playoffs, where you have to win 4 or 3 games to be national champions. I feel like college football made it a lot tougher this past year. Do you agree that this is football is more tougher now to be national champions like basketball?
Yeah, I would say so, but I don't think it can really hold a candle to the NCAA tournament, considering the wear and tear that is on your body with these games. Obviously, football game is very physical, but I think the magic of these NCAA tournaments is that you have these Cinderella stories. We've talked a lot on this show the last couple of days about how those Cinderella stories are starting to kind of edge out. And Dunaway, I don't know about you, but this is where I kind of land on it. I think it's too early to be calling that. I think that, NIL has been around for a couple of years now, and these, conference formations definitely are newer. But I think this is a year where there's elite talent, and I think there's also something to consider that these Cinderella teams of old, because of the transfer portal, those same players are still making an impact on this tournament. They're just not with those Cinderella teams anymore. So I think that it could be trending in that direction, but I also wouldn't be surprised if next year we have a little bit of a normal tournament per se.
Well, let's do cut 2 here, Tyler. We'll get back to the game itself, but Nate Oates, being one of the more respected coaches in college basketball now and at a power program, got asked about Cinderellas yesterday, and he had no time to pre-think about his answers. Didn't know he was going to be asked about it, but he gave, I thought, a pretty interesting answer. So cut number 2, here's Nate Oates on what EG is talking about, the death of Cinderella.
I mean, there's still obviously room for upsets. They've had upsets in the tournament. You're going to have upsets every year. My guess would be you're still going to have some upsets, but I did see somebody made the point, like anybody that gets really good at mid-major level, it seems like there's just a lot more rev share, NIL money up at the higher levels. It's going to be harder I don't know that I would have been able to keep my whole team together at Buffalo in today's day and age. So, but you do. I will say this though. The other side of that is a lot of these high major teams are going not all in, but a lot more in on the transfers with the portal, which means there's a lot of freshmen that are not getting offered at the high major level that would have used to get offered that now are ending up at a mid-major school, and some of them are really good. So those mid-major schools that they're going to have to do a really good job evaluating talent coming out of high school, then you're just going to have to do it, with some younger guys, I think. And I think it's still going to be done, but it might be a little bit harder. I think you'll still see some Cinderellas coming through, but I haven't put a lot of time into that. I've got a really good offensive team at BYU. I've had to put a lot of time in, so that's my 2 cents on something I haven't thought too much about.
But he's the guy who coached Buffalo as a Cinderella team into the Sweet 16, into the second weekend. So he speaks with some
experience,
knowledge of it. Yeah, he knows about it.
Well, I think that it affects the mid-majors the most because, as Coach Oates pointed out, it's those star players that have these runs. You look at FAU from last season, a lot of those guys and even their coaching staff aren't there anymore. Some of them are on Florida's team. And it's one of those moments where you look at these mid-majors and they're definitely feeling it the most. Former assistant of Alabama, Charlie Henry, who's at Georgia Southern, his entire roster is decimated right now because their best players have been plucked. And it's one of those things where you're not only having to, try to compete at the mid-major level, but you're also having to compete with these, Power 5 schools that are looking at your rosters and kind of cherry picking right now. So it's an interesting time in college athletics. I mean, obviously graduating from a group of 5, I definitely advocate for those mid-majors because there's a lot of talent at that level. And, there's a lot of playing opportunities too that people kind of overlook at times. So again, I'm always going to advocate for those guys, but I definitely think that there is something to consider with how things are trending, especially for those mid-majors.
We're going to actually talk more about the game in a second, but later on in this segment, I want to hear from the fans. So in the chat room right now, I would love to hear concerns, comforts, excitement, where you are on Alabama, BYU. If you're an Auburn fan, give us your take. Just let us know you're an Auburn fan with your take on how you think the game's going to go tonight. So fill up the chat room with your thoughts about how Alabama, BYU will play out tonight. Other games too, if you want to throw those in: Florida, Maryland, Duke, Zona, and Arkansas and Texas Tech. And we'll get to those after we hear from a couple of folks, more Nate Oates and more Chris Youngblood from yesterday's media outlet day up here in Jersey. This hour of the show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. That's where you find our man Sterling. He is there to help you have the best experience possible. Customer service through the roof, food fantastic. Chicken's brined overnight. It's cooked to order, the great sides and all of that. It's our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. It's been there for a long, long time because it is absolutely spectacular. It's one of those places you can go and hear someone moan after a great meal and say, I'll have what she's having. That's where the Cat's Delicatessen I was at last night. That's where when Harry Met Sally, Meg Ryan moment.
Oh, that was that moment
in the movie. Was in that Delicatessen.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was there last night. I didn't moan like that, I promise.
Oh, we would have heard about it, Dunaway. Mo Diabonte and Co would have also probably heard about it after you joined them at the barbershop.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. All right.
Before we move on, hold on. I would love to know the conversations that Grant Nelson, who else did you ask? Jaron Stevenson.
And Chris Youngblood, who we're about to hear from, had
with each other. And Mo, after you all after they were all asked the same question and the questions that followed between the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What they said after
What
the
they
bald-headed
said.
guy left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Yeah.
know.
I think they refer to me as the nice bald-headed guy.
Was there a mean
Um,
bald-headed guy?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but I think I think they don't mind doing interviews
Okay.
with me. But I do think they notice I'm hairless. So I think they refer to me as the nice bald-headed guy who's always around our team.
All right. I want a direct quote
Um,
to check that out.
well, I sent Forrester all the interviews. So if he wants to, in the commercial break, I don't know, either today or tomorrow. Can't do it tomorrow if they lose because,
No.
but he's got my question to Youngblood, my question to Stevenson, and my question to Diabate about this fabricated trip to a Queens barbershop that we talked about back in the first segment. The show also being brought to you by Hemp Hill. The Hemp Hill sound of the day is coming up from Nate Oates first, cut number 1, Tyler. Hemp Hill wants to make sure that your air conditioning, your heat, and your plumbing is all working. So if it's not running right, draining right, flowing right, Hemp Hill can help you. They've been helping Birmingham families since the 1950s right there with our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Check them out online. Just look for the name Hemp Hill, and you're getting high quality. Here's Nate Oates talking about the health of Grant Nelson and Cliff Amore and how the impact that those big men can have on this game against BYU. Here's the Alabama head coach.
Are Cliff and Grant healthy?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I talked to Grant, he says he's at 90%, but then his point was I've been at 90% most of the year. I mean, I don't know who is 100% at this point of the year. So Cliff's for sure healthy. Grant's pretty healthy. I mean, not 100%, but close enough. So, we've got everybody about as close to 100 as you're going to be able to get at this point of the year. And, Grant's probably the furthest from that, but like he made the point to me, he hasn't been better than 90 for the last month or two. So I think we'll have our full roster available for us to play this game.
Full roster that includes Darian Reed, who has been playing some big minutes, and that minute count has been going up a little bit each game. The former McDonald's All-American who made his first 3 in the last game since January the 11th. So he is a growing part to what Alabama is able to throw out there. So they will run 9-10 deep tonight against BYU, who you said, EG, will run just as deep as Alabama.
Yeah, I think that's something that for Alabama fans, you guys need to keep an eye on. Is one thing that BYU does really well is matching that depth. You won't really see Alabama with the ability to wear them out like they did against St. Mary's. Now, one thing, in the chat, people are talking about, possessions. You can't give turnovers to BYU. And something that might give you some comfort is that Alabama actually averages almost 8 possessions more per game than BYU does. And with that 0.5 offense that we've been talking about today that BYU runs, they are susceptible to some turnovers. Now, Alabama all season long, that has been an issue for them as well. So it's about capitalizing on those moments compared to kind of letting the moment overtake them. But I do think there is some opportunity with that. Defensively, Alabama is matched slightly better than BYU. I think a lot of people are comparing, BYU to a poor man's Kentucky in a way. And Dunaway, I'm curious for you, does that give you any comfort in how Alabama has played Kentucky this season when there are so many comparisons being drawn to both of those teams?
Yeah, yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, in the fact that is the style. So you can put in, for the most part, you can put in a Kentucky tape and it looks a little bit like BYU the way they play. The no part is the fact that I believe BYU shoots the ball better than Kentucky does. In fact, I know they shoot the ball better than Kentucky does. And I think they shoot the ball better than Alabama does. So that is my concern tonight, is that BYU, at times, they're a mature team with great shooters, and they can shoot the basketball. And if you are not hand and face, now their losses, when they have lost, it's been big physical defenders, taller defenders, taller than they are, who've challenged them, like Igor, the NBA prospect at guard for them, who's a great distributor but also can score. His scoring is way down when he's playing a defender who is taller than him, and LeBaron Philon is taller than him, and we'll give it a go tonight to try to cut into him, be a little bit more physical with him. So they have struggled at times. If Alabama can play the D with big physical players, and Alabama can run some length at them
Yeah.
with Jaron Stevenson and Mo Diabate and some of them. So we'll see how they handle that. But I do believe BYU is dangerous because they actually shoot the ball better than Kentucky does and slightly better than Alabama does. Speaking of that, I think a lot of people, cut number 7, Tyler, a lot of people would say Alabama's shot wasn't with them in Cleveland. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well from the perimeter against Robert Morris or against St. Mary's. So I asked Chris Youngblood about that, about the team sort of being in a slump shooting right now. I know he had 3 threes in the St. Mary's game, but the team, specifically Mark Sears, the shots just aren't dropping right now. So I asked CY about this team being in the slump, and much like the son of a math teacher, the player of a math teacher in Nate Oates, CY had some numbers and some theory to back up how he feels like Alabama's in a pretty good spot.
You guys feel like you're in a little bit of a shooting slump right now, that the threes aren't dropping for you?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. Like, I focus on winning. We can win multiple different ways. We can score 56 points off twos. We can score 40 points off threes. One thing I always I know about basketball, you can have slumps, but the numbers always even out.
You're spitting out stats like your coach is a guy that believes in math and stats. Does he talk numbers with you guys a lot? Sometimes a lot.
That's not all he talks about, but it's most stuff he talk about. So slumps. Like, if you're a 40% shooter, if you're shooting 15% for 5 games, that means you're due for a 7-8-3 game, or probably not like that, but you're due for a crazy game. So if we're in a slump right now, I mean, we're due for a couple good games, and it's around the right time too. So I'm excited.
And doesn't that feel? I mean, I know I've heard at least a handful of Alabama fans say that we're due.
Mm-hmm.
We're due to have a good shooting game.
Yeah.
We're due to have a game like we had at Austin against Texas. And I'm wondering, could tonight be the night to do that? Or maybe if you do that, maybe that's the thing you have to have on Saturday to beat Duke to get to the Final Four. So I believe there is a little bit of hope and belief out there that there are good shooting days ahead for Alabama.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and I think that it's interesting from a player perspective to hear him kind of break that down. And I like the note about how when you look at the numbers, usually it all kind of evens out. When I was in Tuscaloosa, this was right before the Auburn game, it was so interesting hearing Coach Oates talk about all of these stats that he uses. I also learned that he is a big fan of stats that you can give him that he may not know. One of them was how many times the tip-off is won by certain players. But in that same breath, if you give him a wrong stat, he is not very happy with that. I can only imagine the times that has happened before. But I think Alabama in a lot of ways, especially Mark Sears, now he's contributed a lot in other ways, especially with those assists that might have flown a little bit under the radar for some people. But there are a few people on this team that are due for a good shooting night, and I think it could come together against BYU. In my opinion, Dunaway, I don't think that this offense that BYU runs is going to catch off Alabama's defense like maybe some other teams they have in the past because of those similarities in that offense.
Yeah, and those similarities to Kentucky as well, who they played and beaten 3 times. Good point by you. We'll jump into the chat room right after I tell you about our fine friends at MyBookie. EG is going to pull up some of your best comments about the games tonight. MyBookie.ag will let you play those games tonight. MyBookie.ag, and the sign-up bonus is 50% right now. You get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. Use the word next round, put them together, no space, next round, as you sign up with an account at MyBookie.ag. MyBookie.ag. Promo code next round, get that 50% deposit bonus. In other words, if you put in $1,000, they give you $500 there on your deposit bonus, and then you're off and rolling. Maybe you get some winners tonight in the 4 Sweet 16 games. What's everybody saying about the games tonight?
Yeah, we have Bama defense is significantly better than BYU. Bama should score 100. Daniel says biggest concern by far is perimeter defense and contesting shots. Second is turnovers, giving BYU more possessions. Auburn fan here, going to be a shootout, but Bama will win with ease. And it's kind of a similar, sentiment. If Bama plays D like they did against St. Mary's, Bama wins by 10. Going to boil down to rebounding. That's a great point. Then we have some Auburn discussion. Auburn will beat Michigan. We'll see if they can get back to Final Four. Bama concern is different than in the past. It's almost expecting to win instead of lacking confidence. Nate can now say he's done it. What do you make of that?
There is a confidence in this team, and I think it had been broken a little bit after that tough end of the year schedule, especially on the senior night loss at home against Florida, when they were really almost getting run out of their own gym on senior night, and then they got their confidence back when they went down to Neville Arena and beat Auburn, and it just sort of changed the way they felt. And then they beat Kentucky in the SEC tournament. But then they lost to Florida again, and I was concerned about that. But then we got here to Cleveland first, and I saw a little bit of that confidence. Okay, a lot of that locker room were big contributors, and I actually talked to the players about this, specifically Grant Nelson and Jaron Stevenson, because it was the Sweet 16. They struggled to get through College of Charleston and Grand Canyon to make it to the Sweet 16 last year. That was the two teams they beat, College of Charleston and Grand Canyon. And then they went to the Sweet 16, and they were facing blue blood at that point, North Carolina. But it was that game a year ago at the Sweet 16 in Los Angeles that Grant Nelson probably had his best game, at least on that stage, as an Alabama Crimson Tide player. And it got him to the Elite Eight for only the second time in program history. And then Jaron Stevenson had his best game to date as an Alabama player to beat Clemson to get Alabama to its first ever Final Four. So I believe their best two basketball games they played last year were in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. And those two guys are still on the roster, and so is Mark Sears, and so is Mo Diabate. And those guys, I think, feel like this is the time last year we played our best two basketball games, and we'll need to play our best basketball game tonight and then again on Saturday if we want to get back to the Final Four. But there is a confidence that we did that as basically this core group last year. And I'm pretty sure the chat will back me up on this. This team is, whether they make it there or not, this team is better than last year's team, in my opinion.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about Alabama's depth. We've talked about it against BYU. And if you remember, Dunaway, when we go back to the Memphis game that we actually covered as a team, one of the conversations was, how do you get all these pieces to work together? Because you have so much talent on this roster. And what will that rotation look like? From your perspective, how do you feel like that has gone for Alabama? And do you feel like that is one of the biggest strengths that they have for potentially these next two games?
Yeah, I mean, the depth is important because it's so interchangeable. You start first with Grant Nelson. Grant can play the 5, he can play the 4, he can play the 3. Jaron Stevenson can play the 4, he can play the 3, he can guard a 2 if he has to. Mo Diabate can guard a 5, he can guard a 4, he can guard a 3. Aiden Sherrill, he can guard a 5, he can guard a 4. Then you got the guards. You got Aiden, and you got LeBaron Philon, you got Mark Sears. They're interchangeable. They can all run the point. They can play off guard. And then you have those tweener guys like Chris Youngblood who can do a little bit of everything. Chris Youngblood may be the most physical guy on the team. So he's sort of a Swiss Army knife on this roster. So yeah, the roster is built where everyone has roles, but they also can be interchangeable if the game dictates that. And I think that has been the strength of this team all season long against a challenging schedule. We talk about Auburn all the time, the schedule they have played to get to where they are. Alabama's played an equal schedule of difficulty, and it'll be interesting to see if BYU can hold up against Alabama's depth and the way they attack it tonight. One more thing I want to say before we take our next break here, Trash, in the final segment coming up, and some final thoughts about the game, is where does the NCAA tournament rank as a sporting event for you guys in the room there? And I will circle back around with my thoughts in a second, but how much do you enjoy the NCAA tournament, E.G., Forrester, Tyler, if you want to chime in? Where does it rank on the sports calendar for you?
Yeah.
And how do you enjoy it and rank it?
I love the tournament. College basketball has long been one of my favorite sports, just because obviously my dad played, and that was my first kind of experience doing sideline reporting, so always been very special to me. I do love the Masters. I do love the Masters. I think that is, I mean, it might be my favorite. So I would go Masters. I would go NCAA Tournament, the Olympics, just in general. Is that cheating, or would I have to pick like a certain event, Dunaway?
No, I'm okay with the Olympics. I mean, but right now you're skipping college football.
Yeah, but that's a good fourth. I love college football. There's a lot of change right now, though. I got to get used to the 12 team.
Okay.
And
All
then
right.
I'm going to round it out with, I'm going to keep it top 4, actually. So Masters, NCAA, Olympics, college football.
So you were about to say Major League Baseball instead of the NFL. That's what you were about to do.
Yeah.
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 I could sense that coming. And you didn't want to say that because the NFL is the most popular sport in our
Yeah.
country, but you just left it off your list of 5. It doesn't make your top 5.
I know. But I'm going to stick with my 4, and I feel pretty good about it.
No. It's college football, anything college football for me. But then the NCAA college basketball is number 2 for me. Then I go the NFL. Then I would probably go Major League Baseball. There was a time the Olympics would make my top 4 too.
I love the Olympics.
I used to love it a lot more. And you should probably say what changed, Jim?
Tell me more.
I don't know. There's just something about not having, and you didn't live through this, but when the Russians had a team, and I don't know if we'll let them in the next Olympics or how that works, but they missed so many recent Olympics. But when it was the Soviet Union against the Americans, I mean, that in any sport, it was like Alabama and Auburn on steroids. So that was that made the Olympics, and I don't know, I can't get as fired up about the U.S. versus China, and then Russia has been banned a couple of times because of the war in the Ukraine. So it just doesn't have the same rivalry of teams that we used to have. You still get individual stories and stuff, but it doesn't make my top 5. I probably go Major League Baseball 4th, and I don't know what I would put 5th. I do enjoy the golf majors when the time of the year comes. Yeah. That's good. Forster, do you have a list?
Yeah. So the NCAA tournament for me, the Thursday and Friday, the first 2 days of it are literally my favorite 2 days of the sports year. I don't think it gets any better. Games start at 11 o'clock in the morning and still going at midnight, and they're awesome. And I love Cinderellas. Hopefully they don't die. Yeah, I love the NCAA tournament.
So number 1, I like that.
Number 1. And that was even before, for anybody who wants to say, yeah, I think that's because Auburn's good now. I loved it when Tony Barbie was the coach at Auburn, and they sucked.
Yeah,
love the NCAA.
That's what the chat was about to say. That you love the NCAA tournament since 2019 when you became a basketball fan.
Loved it always.
And
the pools and everything with the bracket. Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you go college football second?
I'd actually go Major League Baseball opening day second. I don't have anything to look forward to right now this year, but I love opening day.
It's a good day.
You're a spring guy, man. You like these EG too. Y'all like these spring things, the Masters and the tournament and Major League Baseball's opening day. You guys are spring babies.
Spring
I
and
love the
summer.
springtime.
Stanley Cup Finals too would be way up there for me.
Yeah, I can take it or
spring
leave
and
that
summer
one.
as well.
Tyler?
Crazy. All right.
I'm going to go World Cup, number 1 for me. Number 2,
Not surprised.
probably March Madness. When I do have time, I love watching it. I love the single elimination format. It makes every game extremely exciting. Number 3, Stanley Cup. And number 4, Olympics.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All good
How was the
answers.
anime movie? How was the anime movie at the IMAX?
That showing sold out, so I got to see it tomorrow.
Okay, so it's Friday for you now. I see. You mentioned that on the air. I forgot about that. I was interested to see how that played out for you. Send me a text. Let me know if it's worth telling my daughter to go see it. She loves the anime as well. All right, we got trash when we come back. Plus, we will do final thoughts on Alabama and BYU. Keep those coming in the chat room. EG will give us some more. If you didn't get yours read there, keep those coming in because we want to hear what you think about Alabama and BYU coming up tonight, 6:09 Central, 7:09 here in Jersey for that big contest. And we will get to that coming up. The show being brought to you by our wonderful friends at NASCAR. Tell us about a chance to get on that beast of a track over at Talladega, EG.
Yes, absolutely. If you've never been out there, guys, you have got to go check it out. It's a 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Link's 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway, April 25th through 27th, right around the corner. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Again, that is TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
All right, more of the next round on Sweet 16 Thursday when we come back on TNR.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Start with the most exciting game on hardwood. Add the best ballers in the country, a season culminating tourney, the smell of popcorn in the air, and hundreds of your closest friends absolutely losing it along with you. That's Fandom U. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA Division I Women's Sweet 16 and Elite 8, March 28th through the 31st in Birmingham. Buy your seats today at ncaa.com/WBB tickets. Class dismissed.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation states that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the next round, final segment coming up. I just checked the thermostat in my hotel room here.
What?
64 degrees in here. It's an older heating and air conditioning unit, so it makes a lot of noise. So
Yeah.
I turn it off when I'm doing the show from in the room, and it is still very cold outside. And so 64. When I was in the city last night, it was 41, felt like 34 degrees. So still wintertime up here. I don't know. Maggie's been telling me the weather was pretty good down there the last couple of days. She says I missed some good golf days, but it's been nothing but cold temperature on my trip through the Sweet 16 so far.
Yeah, it's been nice. The pollen is out, but I guess that's to be expected this time of year. I'm going through the car wash. It seems like every day. But do you have bad pollen allergies?
I do sometimes, but I've had 2 sneezing attacks on this trip, and the pollen's not bad up here. I don't see any blooms, like no dogwoods or anything. But like last night, some guy's cologne hit me hard.
That's the worst.
As he walked by me, and I just went into a sneezing fit. I've never had sneezing fits my whole life, and I've had 2 on this trip where it's been just like sneeze, 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 sneeze. And when I got back to the team hotel last night, I was talking to a big Alabama booster, and I was having a sniffle almost between words, it felt like, because I felt like I was about to sneeze and my whole head was about to come pouring out. But he probably thinks I had, COVID or something, was trying to pass it along to him before the big game. But just interesting. So the pollen's out, the dogwoods are out. I can't wait to get back. It just dawned on me right at this instant right now. Y'all tell me what my bill is going to be at parking at the Birmingham airport. Because I didn't think about this. I mean, I parked. How long have I been gone?
You left.
I left.
Wait, were you
Tuesday.
here for pro day for Bama? I heard you already left. Because I was there.
I can't remember.
I think I texted you. I think you left on.
I left Tuesday. I left on Tuesday of last week.
Yes, because I was at practice. Yeah, and So you've been gone for a week and some change.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's my 10th day on the road. With
not a lot of clothes. Well, I guess we covered that yesterday. You did bring quite a few backstock of outfits.
Yeah, I'm not even halfway through my dress shirts.
That's good.
So, I got a sort of a crimson colored one I'm wearing tonight.
Oh.
It's maybe closer to pink. I can't tell.
Do an outfit of the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Don't tell you twice.
Our friends at ImageCraft, they bring you this show. EG's about to tell you about the great folks at ImageCraft, how they can save you money, especially if you print a lot all the time, right?
Absolutely. We print a lot here, that's for sure. But ImageCraft wants you to print more and spend less, specializing in low-cost printer and copier supplies. ImageCraft carries all of those major brands that you know and love. ImageCraft offers free same-day delivery on all in-stock items to the Birmingham metro area and free shipping outside of the area. So we want you guys to mention the next round. If you do it in store, you can go to Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center. You can save 10% there, or you guys can go online, use code TNR 10% at imagecraft.net and save 10% there.
Yeah, trash in just a second. Mike Rodak earlier this week reporting that Alabama is A-Day will be about an hour and a half practice.
Yep.
Beginning at 12 p.m., followed by an autograph session limited to Yay Alabama members. So you can't just show up for that this year. You've got to be a Yay Alabama member to get the autograph session. And it'll be an hour and a half practice. Auburn also announced that they will have an autograph session after what will be basically a 90-minute practice as well. So the old A-Day game, beans and weenies game, keeping score has gone away.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this. We were also talking about this with our friends Peter Burns and Caroline Fitton today on SEC Network, and they asked if I was surprised by this. What has the fan reception been? And Dunaway, I haven't seen too many people that are disappointed in this. I feel like with these spring games, it's been trending this way for a while, in my opinion. And Coach Freeze in Auburn this week was talking about how he's always lobbied for OTA days, get rid of this model completely. I think it is a nice thing for the fans to come out and see a team on a nice afternoon, but overall, this doesn't shock me, and I don't think fans are too upset about this, but I could be wrong on that. Let us know in the chat what y'all's thoughts are.
Yeah, I don't think too many people are upset about this. I do know that it will be different. It will be different. And I wonder if I don't know. Because it was part of it was free. I was wondering if you said, hey, we're going to charge X amount of dollars and it all goes to NIL, if you could have brought back the 8-day games, the spring games, but I don't know. I don't know where we're headed. It all changes so quick. It's not that big a deal, but it's all changing. We'll have final thoughts on basketball coming up, but right now it is time for trash. I'll tell you about Mortgage right after Tyler hits the big button. Tyler?
Well, shit. What are y'all doing? This is awful. It's still March. How many days in March?
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
It's EG's Trash today, and it's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right, the experts when it comes to helping you buy a new home, refinancing available as well, and ever-changing home market. The best thing about Mortgage Right, and they're in all states in the union. They're all over the country. But they started right here local, and they love to help out. Their customer service is second to none. You can check them out and find great rates with our friends at Mortgage Right. They'll walk you through every step of the process. Mortgage Right, mortgageright.com. EG.
Absolutely. Tyler collects these stories for us every day. He selects them, and today he selected one that is actually perfect for Miss Taylor Korn, even though she's on the road today. Pizza Hut launches Ranch Lovers Dipping Sauce Flight. Pizza Hut is hopping on the ranch dressing trend with the launch of the Ranch Lovers Flight, a trio of ranch dipping sauces offered for a limited time along with the return of the Cheesy Bites Pizza. The new Dip and Dunk LTO pairing coincides with the NCAA March Madness Tournament, which is set to culminate with the championship game on April 7th. The Ranch Lovers Flight includes Chipotle Ranch, Ultimate Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. Thoughts on this, Dunaway? Will you be trying it out?
I will tell you that I tried to figure it out last night. I think Taylor and I went to 25 basketball games in the regular season this year. And we went to the Tennessee game together in football this year. You and I went to LSU together in football this year. Being around you guys it hasn't been fantastic for me in all senses, because I have now turned into the ranch guy.
I didn't know where that was going, Dunaway.
I mean, I was always a blue cheese with my chicken wing guy, the way it was intended to be, but now I'm a ranch guy. I now will occasionally dip a French fry in ranch. I occasionally will dip pizza in ranch. I'll occasionally dip a sandwich in ranch. Yeah. I will occasionally dip a burger bite in ranch. I'm all of a sudden, Taylor has rubbed off on me in a horrible way. I'm a ranch guy now.
I like ranch. I don't love it, but like on pizza, absolutely. I like fries. I mean, I don't like it with Mexican food. That's like where I draw the line. I'm not dipping anything like tacos or anything like that in ranch. But
it'd be good. It'd be good.
Let's be honest, it would be. So we'll have to tell Taylor about this new ranch flight, because I bet she would try it out for us.
See, I'm with you. We've got a little controversy in the chat. Scott says, not only does blue cheese suck, but he doesn't understand ranch on pizza.
It's good. I like it.
Terrible. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why?
I like it. I don't know. It adds a little flair, a little pizzazz. A little extra flavor.
Yeah. That's why a lot of places let you do ranch as a topping for the sauce almost instead of pizza sauce.
Ooh. No, I don't like that.
And then some places do ranch dusted crust and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll consider it.
Do you like your ranch runny or thick?
Runny.
I like
thin.
I like a thicker ranch.
Thin ranch.
I like the thin ranch. Yeah.
Okay.
I ate it on salads too. Taylor has taught me to like ranch, and I think I taught her to cuss.
Okay.
So it worked out good.
That's a fair
Yeah,
trade-off.
good trade. Yeah.
I would be cussing if this happened to me. Babysitter checking for monsters under the bed finds a man hiding under the child's bed.
Oh no.
Yes.
What's happening?
A babysitter in Kansas found a troubling surprise after a child she was watching complained there was a monster hiding. The babysitter found a man hiding under a child's bed after they attempted to show the children there was nothing there. She came face to face with a male suspect who was hiding there. Oh my gosh. Sheriff deputies arrived at the home at 10:30 p.m. on Monday after they were called about the disturbance. After the deputies arrived, the babysitter told the deputies that when the man was discovered, there was an altercation. The babysitter and child were knocked over during the scuffle, and the suspect fled. The following day, the deputies spotted the man while they were in the area looking for the suspect. He ran after a short pursuit. Deputies caught him. 27 years old. He was booked into the Barton County Jail on multiple charges, including aggravated kidnapping and child endangerment. He's being held on a $500,000 bond. He apparently, this is a twist, he once lived on the property. Interesting.
He lived there once?
He at one point lived, and there was a current protection order issued against him to stay away from the property. Very unsettling.
Yeah. I wonder if he still had a key. You know what I mean? Does everybody change their locks when they buy a new apartment or a new house?
You'd think. You would think. I don't know. That would freak me out.
If not, there's a lot of keys that could be floating around out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I was never a babysitter. That was not one of the jobs that I had. I babysat one time. Did not go well, and I never went back to it. But I was too freaked out to be home alone by myself. Parents gone, you have to watch kids. Not for me.
I as a college age student, stayed with a family while their mom and dad went on a trip one time. I didn't do the babysitting on the regular, but I do remember one summer where the parents had to go somewhere. Maybe it was Hawaii or Europe or something without the kids. I kept like a freshman high schooler, a middle schooler, and a late elementary school, and just oversaw the house and drove them to their things and just stayed there at night just to make sure that they were okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't really babysitting. It was just house sitting basically with 3 kids in it.
Not for me. Okay, we move on to this. Fake dentist. Ooh, already starting off so badly. Allegedly broke woman's tooth with pliers and damaged jaw. Charged only $250. It says an unlicensed dentist is facing multiple charges after a woman's teeth were damaged during a procedure. So
you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for, man.
Agreed. So I don't even want to call him a dentist, just the man, has been charged with practicing dentistry without a license and aggravated assault on September 30th, 2024. That was the Georgia game, wasn't it? Georgia-Bama game?
Sounds like it.
A Saturday, too? That's kind of odd service for a dentist, unless you're Alabama Dental. They have great hours. On September 30th, 2024, the woman went to Perez's home at the La Plaza Apartments for dental surgery. He reportedly used pliers to pull a tooth, which caused it to break and damaged her jaw. Wait, so this is where it gets even crazier, guys. She was put under anesthesia.
Oh, wow.
That is crazy. And then she had to go to the hospital. Neighbors told Corley that Perez would charge patients $250 and up. Records show Perez was currently in custody on an ICE hold after he was arrested in February on an unrelated aggravated assault charge. Yeah.
An ICE hold so he could be deported to?
Yes, and that is crazy. Yeah, don't get any dental work done that is not licensed in a dental office. I feel like that's self-explanatory, but...
Well, I mean, you've heard stories in trash forever about Brazilian butt lifts and stuff that where they end up putting basically concrete in there or silicone that they buy at Home Depot.
So bad.
And it just goes so bad or kills people. It's been trash stories for years.
Yeah.
Don't get your medical work at discount on the internet.
Well, now the latest things, I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this, but veneers, that's been the latest rage. And specifically in Atlanta, I've heard a lot about it, but people are getting registered online to do these veneers. And if you're not familiar, you basically take healthy teeth at times and you drill them down to basically nubs and you put on caps. And it has been like an epidemic of people that are getting falsely licensed, and people are paying them, and they're having now healthy teeth completely whittled away, and then a slew of health problems on the back end of things. So dental work is no joke, and your teeth are one of the best indicators of health. Did you know that, Dunaway?
I did know that.
Yeah.
I did know that. Wow.
I know.
That's a bad scene in Atlanta too.
It is.
Wow.
It is. Okay, we're gonna wrap with this. Kermit the Frog to speak at University of Maryland commencement. It's not easy being green or a commencement speaker, but Kermit the Frog will do it. The beloved Muppet will deliver the commencement address at University of Maryland. The university announced on Wednesday morning. While speaking at graduation is a big commitment, there it is. The beloved Muppet and legendary frog has deep ties. His creator, Jim Henson, graduated from Maryland's flagship university in 1960. In a statement shared, Kermit said that nothing could make these feet happier than to speak at the University of Maryland. I just know the class of 2025 is going to leap into the world and make it a better place. So if a few encouraging words from a frog can help, then I will be there. That's interesting.
I think it'll be cute. I think it'll be good.
Be memorable, you could say. I don't remember my high school commencement. I do remember my college one because it was still recent. But do you remember either of your commencement speakers, or like what the message was?
Oh, I want to say Senator Jeff Sessions spoke at my college one, and I don't think we had one at my high school one. Like, I think didn't our class president and also the what's it called when you have the highest grade point average? Yeah, those were the two people that spoke at our high school graduation.
What about you, Tyler?
Yeah.
I don't remember the high school commencement speech, other than I felt like there were other students that it could be directed to. You know what I mean? Like the people that are sitting with all the like chords and everything. Like, you don't need to be talking to them. Talk to the people that you can actually help out.
Oh.
But I don't remember my college commencement speech because I did not go to my graduation.
Why is that?
I was sitting in this chair right here.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That was before my time
by
here.
choice, or somebody was on vacation and we convinced you to miss your graduation?
Rockstar was on a West Coast tour, and I needed to run the board.
Wow. Do you think we can go back and get you to walk at Auburn, like in the upcoming commencement? Do you think they would do that if we pull some strings? Would you want to do that?
I mean, they might allow it, but I don't want to do it.
Okay. If it's not something you're missing in life, we won't go to the trouble.
We could do our
I
own.
don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
Hey, if Brown gets his honorary degree, we could do a dual graduation ceremony.
Oh, there we go.
That's right.
Doesn't he need a Spanish credit?
Yeah, I think we were trying to talk to whoever the president of the university is to just kind of let that slide, but I don't know what the update is on that.
Oh, I can tutor him. I took Spanish 3.
Oh, that's content right there. Just you tutoring Brown in Spanish. Yeah, do that one. That gets Taylor fired up. She just perked up in Atlanta right now.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, that is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right, mortgageright.com. They can help you out with all your mortgage needs. Taylor's got coverage all day long of Auburn. I know it's been a pretty heavy Alabama show. Well, to this afternoon, we turned the page to Auburn because they'll be practicing at State Farm Arena. They'll be meeting the media. Taylor will be there in the locker room, and she'll pump out all that sound throughout the day leading up to the tip tonight of the Alabama-BYU game. And in that tip situation of Alabama-BYU, I'll have post-game reaction from the locker room, and the basketball show will go live after I get out of the locker room. So it won't be immediately after the game tonight. It'll be after a short trip of me in the locker room grabbing some sound, and then we'll be able to kick some stuff out to you and do a live post game where we can get reaction to Alabama and BYU. That is happening tonight. The first game of the night, it's at 6:09 on CBS. One note to finish on here: Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. All the 1 seeds are still left. Only once has the Final Four comprised entirely of number 1 seeds.
When was that?
That was in 2008.
Okay.
And the tournament expanded and started putting the seeds together in 1985. And we've only had one tournament where all 4 1 seeds made it to the Final Four, and that was in 2008. So we'll see if we can stay chalky up until then. maybe some upsets tonight. You do have 2 number 1 seeds playing tonight, Florida versus Maryland and Duke versus Arizona. And we'll see how it all plays out. By the way, if you're wondering about who has the most NBA talent that is playing in this tournament, that is
Who is it? Duke.
Duke, number 1.
Yep.
They got 4 first-round picks. Houston, Michigan State, and Maryland, according to NBA scouts. Those are the 4 teams left with the most NBA talent on the roster. Absent there, no Auburn, no Alabama.
Interesting stat to keep your eye on as we play these games today, and we'll have a full slate for you guys tomorrow as well.
Yep. All right, that's our show today. We will wrap it up here. Don't forget you get continuous coverage over at Cover Crimson, covercrimson.com, on everything Alabama, including the latest big recruit for the Crimson Tide, and everything Auburn over at thebarnauburn.com, as they will have part of our content from Atlanta, but also talking spring football, both in Tuscaloosa and Auburn. On both those sites, you can get that content rolling continuously. E.G., wonderful job again today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Taylor Korn's got coverage from Atlanta on Auburn. And thank you to Tyler and to Forrester and Tim behind the big glass there. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.